Masatsugu Naomi faced rejection immediately after summoning, while authorities dismissed his abilities as worthless entirely. During transport, companions discussed limited talents, while Masatsugu remained quiet, accepting circumstances without complaint. Reaching Luna Village, Masatsugu discovered an orphanage assignment, beginning an unfamiliar responsibility within society. He approached the neglected building carefully, noticing damage everywhere before entering through creaking doors. Understanding survival required adaptation, Masatsugu accepted residence there. While others departed without hesitation, Masatsugu inspected the orphanage interior, finding severe disrepair everywhere and doubting its livability greatly. While searching rooms, he heard sobbing nearby and wondered whether another resident remained inside. A captive beast girl pleaded desperately for freedom, while goblins claimed ownership over her refuge. Masatsugu arrived unexpectedly, confronting the goblin leader as the frightened girl noticed possible salvation. Refusing retreat, Masatsugu declared his position firmly, choosing resistance despite warnings about danger. The goblin lunged aggressively toward Masatsugu, expecting an easy victory against an apparently helpless opponent. Masatsugu blocked calmly, unleashing overwhelming force that blasted the attacker backward through space instantly. Realizing unexpected strength, the goblin hesitated nervously while Masatsugu warned against reckless assumptions again. Masatsugu struck decisively, defeating multiple goblins, effortlessly as their resistance collapsed before his power. Witnessing everything unfold, the beast girl stared wide-eyed while Masatsugu reacted with equal surprise. Masatsugu examined his hands, confused that supposedly minor abilities produced overwhelming strength. The beast girl thanked him, though embarrassment lingered, while she struggled expressing gratitude sincerely and openly. Masatsugu dismissed praise, yet her relief deepened, because genuine kindness seemed rare within her life. Tears filled her eyes as hope returned, making survival feel meaningful. Despite hardships she endured, overcome with emotion, she collapsed toward Masatsugu, leaving him startled by sudden closeness. As Masatsugu caught her gently, mysterious light surrounded them, leaving both confused by events. The exhausted beast girl rested within his arms peacefully, while unusual changes spread across her. Masatsugu watched carefully as her condition improved, noticing signs of recovery beyond expectations. Regaining awareness, the beast girl examined herself closely, realizing something impossible had apparently occurred. Learning her deadly illness vanished completely, she cried gratefully while Masatsugu questioned his abilities. The beast girl apologized nervously while Masatsugu comforted her, treating tears gently rather than causing concern. Hearing head pats signified trust among beast folk, Masatsugu withdrew politely, respecting boundaries completely. Wanting repayment through loyalty, the beast girl begged becoming his servant and staying beside him, to prove devotion. She revealed herself without hesitation, leaving Masatsugu speechless and thoroughly bewildered by her action. The beast girl continued requesting proof sincerely, leaving Masatsugu overwhelmed by her unexpected determination and devotion. Concerned about usefulness, she insisted on serving him properly, while Masatsugu urged modesty instead. Masatsugu explained patiently that children should not consider such commitments, viewing them as premature. Misunderstanding slightly, she promised marriage upon adulthood, believing his words encouraged future possibilities. Delighted by her conclusion, she celebrated happily, while Masatsugu realized communication had gone wrong. The beast girl introduced herself as Lucia proudly, strengthening trust between herself and Masatsugu greatly. Masatsugu offered shelter within the orphanage, and Lucia eagerly accepted her new home there. Watching Lucia smile freely, Masatsugu reflected on childhood hardships and responsibilities toward abandoned children. Remembering his upbringing, Masatsugu believed neglected children needed guidance, care, and emotional support. While considering future challenges carefully, Masatsugu felt someone tugging gently at his clothing. Masatsugu used memories from Earth, creating work clothes and preparing practical improvements for survival. While repairing damaged interiors, he tested mysterious abilities. Discovering construction tasks became remarkably easier. Lucia assisted enthusiastically with cleaning duties, already removing debris before Masatsugu could intervene. Seeing her dedication, Masatsugu assigned additional work upstairs and continued organizing neglected rooms carefully. Reaching the second floor, he found everything spotless already, impressed by Lucia's remarkable efficiency. While gathering water and supplies, Masatsugu discovered Lucia had already finished several chores independently. Preparing outdoor work, he reflected quietly, realizing Lucia's enthusiasm exceeded ordinary expectations considerably already. Masatsugu praised her efforts gently, explaining children should not force themselves through constant labor. Lucia insisted helping brought happiness, promising wholehearted support whenever Masatsugu required assistance from her. Hearing her reasoning, Masatsugu recalled painful memories, recognizing Lucia lacked proper parental care herself. Masatsugu proposed a reward for Lucia's hard work, believing effort deserved recognition. Lucia considered the offer, insisting his kindness alone already felt sufficient for her happiness. She hesitantly explained some rewards could only come from one trusted person, confusing Masatsugu. Wanting something simple, Lucia requested a gentle head pat, viewing it as meaningful proof of acceptance. Masatsugu agreed and reassured Lucia, promising protection while patting her head, easing lingering fears. Masatsugu tried moving Lucia elsewhere, yet she insisted staying beside him, trusting him completely, resting comfortably across his lap. Lucia expressed affection openly, leaving Masatsugu embarrassed and speechless. Accepting circumstances reluctantly, Masatsu recognized orphanage leadership had begun with Lucia already there beside him. In the past, Masatsugu Naomi stood before the appraisal ceremony while nobles observed candidates. The official called Masatsugu forward after evaluating others, preparing to reveal his abilities publicly. Masatsu questioned the kingdom's intentions, remembering their abduction and doubting promises about heroism. The examiner checked Masatsu's status, then reacted nervously when unexpected appraisal results appeared before. Officials discovered Masatsu possessed only protection and appraisal skills, lacking the unique power expected. Classmates mocked Masatsu's weak abilities, while officials criticized his usefulness, reducing expectations surrounding him greatly. Masatsugu understood their contempt, recognizing everyone else possessed powerful classes and superior combat potential. The king abandoned military plans, assigning him responsibility for 10 orphans at outskirts instead. A hooded official quietly offered possible return home, giving Masatsugu unexpected hope despite circumstances. Masatsugu suddenly awakened inside the room, realizing exhaustion overtook him that made a dream and passed. Masatsugu found money from the king, planning purchases necessary for managing the orphanage responsibly ahead. Lucia awakened beside him, greeted Masatsugu politely, and listened while he prepared leaving soon. Masatsugu explained his market trip and requested Lucia protect the house until his return. Lucia immediately asked accompanying Masatsu, surprising him with her eagerness, despite her sleepy demeanor. Walking through crowded streets, Masatsugu observed unfamiliar surroundings and accepted his new reality gradually. Masatsu explored market stalls with Lucia, while she enthusiastically guided him through bustling streets. Concerned about attention, Masatsugu planned careful shopping, though Lucia interrupted him with a request. Lucia asked to stay close, fearing separation among crowds, while Masatsugu misunderstood her intentions. Masatsugu held her hand through packed streets, drawing curious looks from several passing townspeople. While continuing shopping, Masatsugu noticed an elderly woman approaching Lucia and offering something unexpectedly. Masatsugu sensed someone watching him from concealment, but the suspicious presence quickly disappeared completely. Lucia happily showed fruits received freely, remaining unaware of Masatsugu's growing concern about observers. Masatsugu dismissed his suspicion and suggested returning, while Lucia noticed his unusual behavior immediately. A fight erupted between adventurers, drawing attention and disrupting movement throughout the crowded marketplace. Considering the conflict foolish, Masatsu chose avoiding involvement and continued walking alongside Lucia calmly. A stranger approached Lucia, praised her appearance, and invited her to share lunch together unexpectedly during their outing. Masatsugu suspected flirtation immediately, regretting Lucia's presence, while she innocently watched the interaction with quiet curiosity unfold. The stranger approached Lucia again, ignoring Masatsugu's presence while seeking her attention repeatedly. Lucia admired Masatsugu greatly, while he regarded the stranger's behavior as another irritating distraction. Misunderstanding everything completely, the stranger believed Lucia discussed him, prompting Masatsu's immediate correction firmly. The stranger invited Lucia away from Masatsu, leaving her confused by the unexpected proposal. Lucia turned toward Masatsugu uncertainly, seemingly waiting for guidance before deciding how to respond. The stranger mocked Masatsu's weakness and questioned his role as Lucia's guardian and protector. Growing hostile, the stranger demanded responsibility for Lucia, while pressuring Masatsu with intimidating threats. Masatsugu remained silent and confused, wondering why the confrontation continued escalating toward conflict. Losing patience completely, the stranger grabbed Masatsu's clothes and demanded an immediate response aggressively. The confrontation turned physical as hands collided, suddenly, marking the beginning of a direct struggle. Masatsugu instinctively restrained the attacker effortlessly, surprising Lucia and stopping the confrontation immediately there. Confused by his reaction speed, Masatsugu realized his body moved independently before conscious thought. Examining the situation carefully, he suspected his skills enhanced perception and granted unexpected strength. Maintaining control firmly, he demanded an apology first, and refused releasing the struggling aggressor. The attacker suffered embarrassment, while Masatsu scolded his behavior and criticized his reckless actions. Masatsugu released the man reluctantly, warning him firmly to stop bothering Lucia and leave. He criticized the man's character, then allowed departure after receiving reluctant compliance and acknowledgement. The man hid resentment and threatened retaliation, while Masatsu calmly resumed shopping with Lucia. Another dispute erupted suddenly, drawing attention as armed adventurers continued clashing without restraint publicly. A loose sword flew dangerously through the crowd, forcing startled bystanders to react immediately. The loose sword rushed toward Lucia, but Masatsugu reacted instantly before danger could reach her. Masatsugu shielded Lucia, smashing the incoming weapon aside through overwhelming physical strength alone. Witnesses stared speechlessly, as Lucia remained unharmed, while Masatsugu appeared equally surprised by events. Holding Lucia securely, he landed safely amid debris, drawing attention from surrounding onlookers. Confused by another automatic reaction, Masatsu questioned why his body moved beyond conscious control. Crowds praised Masatsu's strength, while he considered attracting attention an unfortunate outcome from events. Wanting fewer complications, he decided leaving immediately and pulled Lucia away from gathering spectators. Masatsugu remained uneasy, sensing observation continuing despite departing the marketplace with Lucia quietly together. Walking hand in hand, Lucia expressed satisfaction while accompanying Masatsugu through the peaceful streets. She believed Masatsugu protected her deliberately, but he denied defeating the troublesome man intentionally. Lucia praised Masatsugu warmly, believing he protected her throughout their outing, despite his denial repeatedly. Masatsu insisted their trip was ordinary, explaining such activities belonged between romantic partners instead. Lucia smiled, contentedly, and squeezed his hand, leaving Masatsu uncertain whether she understood anything. Setting confusion aside, Masatsugu suggested returning home and preparing dinner, while Lucia agreed happily. Masatsugu noticed repeated noises around the orphanage roof, suggesting an unseen presence. While working outside, he wiped sweat away and sensed attention lingering from hidden eyes somewhere unseen. Sudden breeze shifted his hair, prompting Masatsugu to sharpen awareness toward possible observers, lurking unseen. Confirming suspicion, he scanned surrounding trees and recognized someone continued monitoring his movements. Returning indoors, he remained cautious yet calm, judging the watcher lacked immediate hostile intentions for now. Masatsugu decided finishing work first, while Lucia approached him indoors and requested attention with curiosity. Lucia noticed baking soda and oil prepared nearby, then questioned their purpose during preparations. Masatsu explained missing soap prompted experimentation, leaving Lucia confused because she lacked basic knowledge. Hearing soap's uses, Lucia treated it like remarkable magic, while Masatsu questioned local development. Lucia eagerly offered assistance repeatedly, praising Masatsu's knowledge until he reluctantly accepted help. Lucia promised careful assistance, believing successful soap-making would satisfy Masatsu and prove her usefulness. Masatsugu demonstrated heating water first, carefully explaining baking soda must be added after boiling. Lucia watched bubbles shrink gradually, learning each step closely while following Masatsugu's instructions attentively. They stirred the mixture steadily, then added oil slowly, as Lucia eagerly requested participation excited by progress. Lucia compared soap-making to cooking, until Masatsugu stopped her interference gently. Masatsugu poured mixture into containers, explaining cooling and hardening would complete the soap-making process. Lucia guarded the molds patiently, eagerly awaiting results while imagining usefulness for everyone. Once hardened completely, Masatsugu revealed finished soap proudly, surprising Lucia with successful craftsmanship. Masatsugu handed Lucia a soap bar and instructed her to wash her hands. She stared with admired. Lucia scrubbed carefully, then sniffed her cleaned hands repeatedly while examining the unfamiliar fragrance. Masatsugu realized Lucia lacked basic hygiene knowledge, forcing him to explain hand-washing methods carefully. He demonstrated proper usage, instructing Lucia to combine water and soap until bubbles appeared. Lucia copied each motion attentively, rubbing foam between hands while adjusting awkwardly herself. Feeling slippery lather spread everywhere, Lucia reacted with surprise while continuing washing diligently. Soft bubbles impressed Lucia greatly, and she happily praised their texture before Masatsugu quietly. Lucia accidentally dropped the soap, splashing herself, then apologized, trying to clean up. Masatsugu remained calm, directing Lucia to wash up, change clothes, and report later, as instructed. While drying herself, Lucia wondered about the meeting, appreciating Masatsugu's kindness and patience, despite her mistake. Lucia finished changing clothes and asked Masatsugu about soap making while noticing remaining baking soda supplies there. Masatsugu explained pancake plans, leaving Lucia puzzled about baking soda's purpose. Lucia recalled learning baking soda served cleaning duties during slavery while doing chores regularly. Masatsugu explained baking soda helps dough expand and noted many people misunderstand. Lucia questioned whether baking soda was safe to eat. Masatsugu reassured her and invited her inside. Masatsugu guided Lucia through pancake preparation, combining ingredients until turned noticeably thick already. While whisking sweetened egg whites separately, Lucia eagerly offered assistance, though uncertainty remained visible. Determined to contribute, Lucia stirred vigorously, watching the mixture closely and following instructions. The mixture transformed smoothly, startling Lucia as she noticed changes developing beyond expectations during mixing efforts. Lucia guessed they were making fresh cream, but Masatsugu clarified the result differed from that entirely. Masatsugu instructed Lucia to gently combine mixtures, explaining excessive stirring would ruin desired texture quality. Lucia praised his knowledge sincerely, comparing his understanding to respected scholars from another world. Realizing her words troubled him, Lucia apologized, while Masatsugu denied resembling those individuals. Masatsugu questioned Lucia's concern, reminding her his efforts focused on supporting and protecting her. Lucia listened quietly as Masatsugu explained regular meals and snacks were part of care. Lucia hesitated, believing the pancakes belonged solely to Masatsugu, and expected none for herself. Masatsugu quickly clarified he prepared her portion too, easing Lucia's misunderstanding and guilt immediately. He explained ordinary households served afternoon snacks, while personally preferring foods less sweet. Lucia became emotional, questioning his kindness because few people had treated her generously before this moment. Masatsugu silenced her worries playfully, patting her head while Lucia laughed with relief. Lucia melted under Masatsugu's head pat, happily repeating his title while enjoying rare affection. Masatsugu stated the orphanage was his, demanding gratitude, obedience, and acceptance of care from Lucia. Following instructions, Lucia fetched a plate while Masatsugu continued cooking pancakes with patience. Presented with pancakes, Lucia struggled between restraint and desire, captivated by their appearance and aroma alone. Masatsugu offered syrup without pressure, leaving Lucia free to decide whether indulging mattered to her. Lucia stared at the syrup-covered pancakes, temptation overwhelming caution as anticipation steadily. Masatsugu warned food would be discarded otherwise, prompting Lucia to accept the offered pancakes. Lucia lifted a piece, examining its unusual softness, while curiosity replaced hesitation and doubt. Taking a bite, she discovered a light texture and sweet flavor, unlike anything remembered before. Delighted by the taste, Lucia savored every mouthful enthusiastically, forgetting concerns and enjoying herself. Lucia trembled with excitement while eating, leaving Masatsugu surprised by her unusually intense reaction. She praised the pancakes enthusiastically, declaring them delicious and unlike anything she had experienced before. She continued praising every bite, describing the texture and sweetness while enjoying the meal. Masatsugu sampled a piece himself, quietly noting the flavor seemed sweeter than expected. Lucia compared Masatsugu to a skilled chef, admiring both his knowledge and remarkable cooking abilities. Masatsugu dismissed Lucia's praise and urged her to finish eating while she smiled quietly. Lucia happily learned extra batter remained and realized pancakes would return as snacks again tomorrow. Convinced such kindness felt unreal, she wondered whether she was dreaming while processing everything she received lately. Seeing Lucia's bright happiness, Masatsugu reflected on her praise and wished to protect that smile forever. Masatsugu reviewed orphanage finances alone, studying records carefully. Lucia noticed Masatsugu standing quietly by the window, then approached him with curiosity. Masatsugu explained budget limits, stating excessive spending would exhaust funds, leaving Lucia embarrassed by her assumption. Lucia eagerly offered assistance, but Masatsugu revealed numerous entertainment ideas from another world, astonishing her. Masatsugu accepted Lucia's determination reluctantly, urging caution instead, while she promised usefulness without causing trouble again. Lucia examined Masatsugu's list closely, curious about unfamiliar ideas and eager to understand them better. Masatsugu described picture books, showing rough sketches demonstrating stories conveyed through drawings alone. Lucia praised his artwork enthusiastically, while Masatsugu dismissed compliments, despite appreciating her sincere reaction. Lucia explained illustrations fascinated her deeply, recalling experiences serving merchants and observing countless things. Watching Lucia's excitement, Masatsugu considered future opportunities, realizing picture books could attract considerable interest. Masatsugu and Lucia noticed unexpected visitors approaching the orphanage, interrupting their discussion about future plans. The guildmaster introduced himself as Duran, arriving with an escort, Guzuzu. They requesting Masatsugu's attention. Hearing reports about Masatsugu's strength, the guildmaster invited him to join officially. Masatsugu remained unconvinced, recognizing the invitation stemmed largely from his remarkable combat abilities. Despite persistent persuasion and promised rewards, Masatsugu refused, prioritizing orphanage responsibilities over adventuring. Lucia looked distressed beside Masatsugu, silently seeking reassurance while uncertainty weighed heavily upon her. Masatsugu recognized familiar behavior from his past, understanding Lucia's hesitation without needing explanations. Reflecting quietly, Masatsugu suspected Lucia endured hardship where expressing personal wishes brought consequences regularly. Masatsugu rejected the guild's proposal firmly, choosing responsibility toward the orphanage and Lucia. His refusal angered Guzuzu immediately, prompting a heated outburst that shocked everyone present. Guzuzu grew furious over Masatsugu's refusal, drawing his weapon while dismissing previous rumors, entirely driven by anger. Guzuzu launched an attack, believing Masatsugu's calm attitude concealed arrogance instead. Masatsugu avoided the strike effortlessly, leaving Guzuzu bewildered as destruction spread around them. Searching frantically, Guzuzu realized his weapon had disappeared. Unable to understand what happened, Masatsugu revealed the sword's weakness, calmly, explaining poor equipment mattered more than technique. Duran immediately bowed, apologized for Guzuzu's actions, while Masatsugu showed little interest in continuing discussion. Masatsugu accepted the apology calmly, questioning why a guild master humbled himself before children. Duran acknowledged Masatsugu's proven strength sincerely, admitting circumstances forced his respectful approach completely. Although forgiving the incident, Masatsugu remained unwilling to register, preferring orphanage duties instead. Duran finally revealed hidden motives, honestly, prompting Masatsugu to question the guild's intentions. Duran revealed growing regional tensions, explaining neighboring kingdoms prepared for conflict while threats intensified steadily. Masatsugu considered the warning, accepted compensation reluctantly, yet prioritized protecting his orphanage above all else. As visitors departed, an unfamiliar elf appeared, suddenly observing Masatsugu and Lucia with interest. The elf praised his abilities confidently, hinting she intended recruiting him for ambitious plans ahead and beyond. The elf girl approached Masatsugu and Lucia confidently, revealing awareness of his abilities. She confronted Masatsugu, admitting she noticed him observing events, confirming mutual suspicion between them. Introducing herself as Erin, former elven queen, she explained her identity before Masatsugu. Masatsugu doubted her story, mentioning attacks against elves, exposing knowledge she recognized and questioned further. Erin confirmed her homeland's destruction and declared revenge, driven by grief for family and fallen people. Masatsugu rejected Erin's request, explaining the orphanage sheltered children, not warriors seeking residence. Erin revealed knowledge about Masatsugu, insisting staying close offered greater value. Masatsugu refused again, asserting authority over admissions while Lucia watched the tense exchange. Masatsugu ends the discussions, but Erin stopped him, determined to continue negotiating despite his rejection. Desperate for acceptance, Erin offered her noble status and herself, hoping Masatsugu would reconsider her request. Erin attempted sacrificing her dignity for admission, but Masatsugu carried her away despite resistance. Masatsugu criticized her reckless behavior, while Erin misunderstood his response and reacted defensively instead. Embarrassed, Masatsugu denied attraction completely, arguing appearances would worsen matters and invite misunderstandings. He firmly rejected her proposal, refusing shared accommodations and denying permission for residency there. Erin reflected sadly, realizing Masatsugu treated her differently from others who pursued selfish desires. Lucia asked Masatsugu compassionately, requesting Erin remain there, believing she deserved shelter and support. Masatsugu rejected sympathy alone, arguing Erin's revenge obsession made accepting her extremely dangerous presently. Lucia persisted despite warnings, insisting abandonment felt wrong, while Masatsugu stressed responsibility and consequences. She revealed her parents were murdered, explaining why Erin's suffering deeply affected her heart. Hearing Lucia's painful confession, Masatsugu reconsidered silently, while Erin waited anxiously for judgment. Masatsugu understood Lucia's feelings yet warned revenge could eventually drag her into dangerous conflicts. Questioning Erin's plans, Masatsugu learned her revenge required patience, delaying action for years to come yet. Masatsugu explained circumstances would change, making future retaliation against Balk increasingly impractical. Erin accepted the condition, promising preparation instead, while showing willingness to remain peacefully and cooperate. Allowing her stay, Masatsu outlined orphanage rules, establishing expectations for daily life and shared responsibilities. Masatsugu explained orphanage rules calmly, while Eren smiled, reminded of her father's guidance and kindness. Eren compared Masatsu to her father, recalling familiar scolding and concern from earlier years. Lucia gently guided Eren toward her room, while Masatsugu wondered about hidden tears and lingering loneliness. Masatsugu set aside further thoughts, prioritizing lunch preparations for the children while responsibilities demanded attention and effort. Lucia brought a konyaku potato, while wondering whether Masatsugu could identify its origin. Masatsugu explained he had discovered the vegetable within mountains, and planned cultivating it extensively. Eren questioned the dangerous search, but Masatsugu revealed the unfamiliar crop remained unknown. Masatsugu described practical uses, explaining abundant harvests could support cooking and generate market profits for everyone. Eren offered assistance, yet Masatsu criticized manual weeding, suggesting better methods were necessary for efficiency overall. Eren proudly claimed noble status and mastery over wind sylphs, expecting recognition for her abilities. She offered assistance reluctantly, acting superior, while Lucia and Masatsu listened without challenging her. Masatsu declined politely, stating their work required no help, leaving Eren visibly frustrated instead. Eren stormed away angrily while Lucia worried, questioning whether Masatsugu handled the situation properly. Masatsu guessed. Eren wanted recognition through magic, protecting her position within the orphanage hierarchy. Masatsu surveyed overgrown fields, realizing severe neglect had accumulated and exceeded manageable restoration efforts. While working steadily, he admitted remaining tasks were extensive, making completion impossible within daylight. He acknowledged Eren's magic proved useful, prompting surprise and satisfaction, despite her earlier frustration. Embarrassed, Eren denied helping intentionally, while Lucia noticed similarities between their stubborn personalities. Clearly work finished successfully, and everyone gathered for food while discussing farmland plans and future cultivation. Eren instructed proper cultivation methods, correcting mistakes while Lucia eagerly promised careful maintenance thereafter. She proudly explained basic knowledge, masking embarrassment, while enjoying recognition from Masatsu and Lucia. Masatsu grew confused as Eren continued advising them, questioning her motives behind constant involvement. Misunderstanding everything completely, he imagined Eren secretly plotting against him through potato production profits. Masatsu taught Lucia potato safety, while Eren insisted on helping and quietly followed them. Masatsugu assigned Lucia simple work, causing Eren to notice his considerate treatment toward her. Eren questioned mysterious powder, while Masatsu prepared materials and guarded important production knowledge carefully. Curious, she repeatedly requested answers, but Masatsugu refused, leaving her increasingly frustrated and suspicious. Masatsugu interpreted Eren's impatience as hidden motives, while she struggled containing emotional reactions visibly. Overwhelmed by refusal, Eren accused Masatsugu of bully, her abandoning composure and protesting loudly. Eren fled embarrassed by Masatsugu's misunderstanding, leaving him completely confused about her sudden departure. Lucia realized Masatsugu misunderstood Eren's intentions, though he remained unaware of the actual reason. Learning Eren left upset, Masatsu considered following her despite insisting he was unconcerned before. Masatsu hurried from the building, determined to find Eren before her feelings worsened further. Remembering childhood loneliness, he believed abandoned children needed reassurance when someone cared enough deeply. Masatsugu searched for Eren, recalling his promise, while denying personal concern and following clues anyway steadily. His search led him toward suspicious nobles, whose smug attitudes immediately drew concern from him. One noble mocked Masatsu indirectly, provoking suspicion while casually handling a hair accessory openly. Recognizing Eren's accessory, Masatsu confronted the pair directly and demanded her whereabouts, without hesitation immediately or fear. Eren wandered alone through the forest, regretting her outburst and accepting uncertain circumstances reluctantly again. Tears formed briefly as she reflected quietly, struggling with embarrassment and unresolved feelings inside. While continuing forward, Eren muttered complaints about Masatsugu, unable to forget recent events. A sudden presence startled her completely, forcing her attention toward an unexpected figure nearby. Before reacting properly, Eren was seized forcefully, while sinister laughter echoed from hidden assailants. Masatsu confronted suspicious nobles directly, demanding Eren's location while sensing hostility behind their reactions. The noble revealed malicious intentions, threatening destruction of the orphanage while restraining Masatsugu there. Masatsugu learned Eren had been kidnapped, yet remained focused despite intimidation and cruel threats. Laughing arrogantly, the noble instructed compliance, claiming resistance would only worsen Eren's situation. The nobles began destroying property openly, exposing plans against the orphanage while Masatsugu observed. Masatsugu dismissed the nobles completely, recognizing arrogance rather than genuine power behind their actions. His response confused them immediately, as they failed understanding his sudden confidence completely. Masatsugu prepared to fight seriously, rejecting intimidation and challenging their assumptions without hesitation directly. Moving first, he struck the noble hard, interrupting his boasting and gaining immediate advantage. The noble crashed through debris helplessly, realizing too late that Masatsugu greatly exceeded expectations. Terrified, the noble begged for mercy while furniture and utensils flew violently across room. Masatsugu watched calmly, appearing confused rather than impressed by the chaotic destruction unfolding there. Seeing unexpected damage everywhere, he questioned events while approaching the battered noble cautiously instead. Annoyed by additional cleaning, Masatsugu scolded the injured noble despite his desperate threats. The female noble remained frozen nervously, as Masatsugu turned attention toward her without hesitation. Masatsugu dismissed both nobles completely, insulting their status and treating them as troublesome nuisances. The woman proudly boasted about her prestigious position, expecting admiration from everyone around her. She continued praising her beauty and appearance, convinced her qualities surpassed ordinary standards. Listening quietly, Masatsugu found her arrogance exhausting, comparing it with previous obsessive admirers. Completely absorbed in vanity, she declared unmatched beauty while ignoring everyone else's reactions. At home, Lucia waiting worriedly, checking Masatsugu's presence after witnessing dangerous objects flying through rooms. The woman attempted seduction confidently, believing her appearance would influence Masatsugu's judgment completely. Unmoved, Masatsugu reminded her of consequences, calmly rejecting threats and manipulation without concern. He released aggressive insects suddenly, convincing the frightened woman immediate retreat was necessary. Terrified, the woman fled desperately, while apologizing repeatedly, abandoning pride, and escaping the orphanage. Masatsugu concluded Erin's kidnapping was genuine, while Lucia urged immediate action to rescue her. Trusting his abilities, Masatsugu identified Erin's likely location and prepared searching alone for safety. Reflecting quietly, Masatsugu realized his protection skill revealed Erin's whereabouts, strengthening determination greatly. Captured, Erin reflected on her mistake, wondering whether rescue remained possible despite worsening circumstances ahead. Bound and disarmed, she feared traffickers, yet remained determined to resist whatever fate awaited. She imagined losing Masatsugu, Lucia, and the orphanage, realizing their importance within her life. Remembering shared experiences, Erin understood her attachment and finally accepted her feelings completely inside. A sudden sound interrupted Erin's thoughts, drawing her attention toward an unexpected presence approaching. Erin prepared an escape attempt, expecting captors nearby while planning resistance and survival, despite danger. The door opened suddenly, prompting her to strike immediately before confirming anyone's identity first. Believing victory possible, she prepared another attack, remaining focused on defeating her supposed enemy. Erin discovered Masatsugu rescued her already, while unconscious traffickers revealed his successful intervention there. Realizing her mistake, she panicked and stopped Masatsugu from leaving, trying to explain herself. Masatsugu apologized playfully, revealing concern beneath his teasing and easing Erin's lingering embarrassment. He praised Erin's courage sincerely, surprising her while acknowledging her determination against dangerous captors. Erin stared quietly at Masatsugu, deeply moved by words she never expected hearing. Masatsugu asked whether her absence would matter, comparing it to an empty dining table. Erin admitted sharing similar feelings, believing prolonged absence would make her fear death. Masatsugu revealed painful memories, explaining loneliness after losing family. While offering Erin comfort and return, he admitted he would feel saddened, extending support and inviting Erin back home safely. Erin accepted his hand, seeing Masatsugu as a dependable protector who appeared during hardship. She refused releasing his hand, making departure difficult while Masatsugu struggled understanding her attachment. Unable to separate them easily, Masatsugu carried Erin himself, leaving her completely overwhelmed emotionally. Carried closely by Masatsugu, Erin panicked over her feelings, fearing he might notice her loud heartbeat. Masatsugu warned Erin carefully while she obeyed immediately and clung tighter during travel. He accelerated suddenly, forcing Erin against him and leaving her completely flustered and speechless. Lucia waited anxiously, trusting Masatsugu completely until both finally returned safely to home. As they arrived, Lucia approached. Masatsugu checked Erin's condition if she can stand. Lucia watched silently, realizing Erin returned carried by Masatsugu, and immediately sensed something unusual. Masatsugu entrusted Erin's care to Lucia, while Erin remained distracted by lingering emotions. Erin noticed Lucia staring closely, becoming uneasy as attention focused entirely upon her. Lucia proposed a private conversation, terrifying Aaron more than captivity, because secrets risked exposure. Masatsu, Lucia, and Aaron prepared supplies, organizing materials for their stall opening. While Masatsu handled crates, Aaron refused assistance, claiming little ability beyond carrying luggage. Aaron blushed when questioned, denying interest despite smiling subtly, leaving Lucia amused. Masatsugu arranged samples beside prepared food, explaining small konjac balls would attract customers and encourage purchases. Lucia misunderstood samples completely, while Aaron jokingly praised Masatsu's idea, drawing correction immediately from him there. Masatsugu explained, samples encouraged purchases, while Lucia understood customers needed tasting before trusting. Aaron displayed promotional signs, describing limited quantities, while Masatsu instructed placement where crowds noticed. She excitedly concluded scarcity increased demand, believing missed opportunities would push customers toward purchases. Masatsu confirmed her reasoning briefly, causing Aaron delight, though he focused on opening operations. Their stall opened successfully, with Lucia welcoming visitors while Masatsu presented samples for curious customers. Passers-by mocked konjac immediately, mistaking it for stones, leaving the stall ignored despite efforts. Lucia worried over absent customers while Masatsugu remained calm. Accepting unfamiliar products invited skepticism. She understood their doubts, yet believed firmly the konjac's flavor could change opinions completely. Later, Lucia offered samples repeatedly, but pedestrians refused, judging appearance before tasting anything. She mistakenly demanded payment first, prompting Masatsu's correction as confused customers hesitated further. Lucia pleaded earnestly with one passer-by, persuading him reluctantly to accept a sample for tasting. The man accepted cautiously, questioning safety, while Lucia thanked him eagerly and watched. Lucia waited nervously as the customer chewed, drawing attention from surrounding pedestrians and merchants. Surprised by flavor, the customer described unusual texture, admitting he could enjoy eating it. Hearing Masatsu's explanation and discount offer, the customer purchased one portion without hesitation immediately. Lucia watched their first customer purchase konjac, then excitedly informed Masatsugu. Lucia celebrated enthusiastically, but Masatsugu reminded everyone they still needed many sales ahead before success. More customers approached the stall, encouraging Lucia and Aaron to promote products with renewed determination. Their stock sold out quickly, though repeated requests frustrated Aaron. Masatsugu counted earnings and reviewed results. Masatsugu explained securing reliable income mattered most, providing stability for the orphanage. Determined to support the children, Masatsugu felt relieved knowing he could provide 3 meals daily. At night, Masatsu considered expanding business opportunities beyond konjac products, planning future ventures. Lucia and Aaron entered his room, insisting upon sleeping beside him despite his reluctant response. Masatsugu lay between Lucia and Aaron, resisting their closeness while requesting peace before sleeping soundly. Lucia thanked Masatsugu warmly, moving closer beneath blankets, clearly pleased by their shared arrangement. Aaron accepted the situation calmly, settling comfortably beside him as everyone prepared for rest. Masatsu closed his eyes, hoping peaceful sleep would come. Disturbing memories surfaced suddenly, recalling his parents' arguments, causing him to awaken shaken and distressed. He noticed Lucia tearfully asking questions while hearing fragments from his troubled dream. Masatsugu comforted Lucia gently, assuring her presence remained unchanged while easing her growing anxiety completely. Relieved by his reassurance, Lucia embraced him closely, grateful he remained beside her through everything. Masatsu remained awake beside Lucia, remembering her traumatic past and recurring nightmares from former. Aaron suddenly panicked during sleep, believing danger approached and reacting fearfully without recognizing surroundings. Searching frantically for protection, Aaron reached around nervously, convinced someone intended harming or abducting. She quickly embraced Masatsu, stopping her panic while providing reassurance through his steady presence. Understanding her trauma deeply, Masatsu comforted Aaron gently, recognizing hardships from her destroyed homeland. Masatsu recalled Aaron attacking him during confusion, realizing her trauma caused dangerous reactions. Aaron apologized repeatedly after calming down, while Masatsu watched quietly and confirmed her rest. Masatsu reflected upon childhood abuse, understanding fear deeply and sympathizing with Aaron's difficult circumstances. Accepting temporary inconvenience, he decided supporting Lucia and Aaron remained necessary until recovery arrived, watching them sleep peacefully. Masatsu hoped their emotional wounds would heal through patience and care. Masatsugu accepted ongoing difficulties, believing helping Lucia and Aaron recover remained his important responsibility. Morning arrived, and Masatsugu worked beside Aaron while checking crops growing steadily within fields. Lucia happily admired the harvest, celebrating their successful progress toward creating reliable household income. Their discussion shifted toward irrigation problems, prompting Lucia and Aaron to volunteer assistance immediately. Masatsugu explained the distant well's burden, wishing the closer dried well contained water. Masatsugu prepared fetching water elsewhere, believing restoring the dried well remained completely impossible. Currently, strange sounds emerged from the well, causing Masatsugu, Lucia, and Aaron to investigate cautiously. A figure suddenly appeared from inside, startling Lucia and Aaron while climbing over stonework. Convinced something supernatural appeared, Lucia and Aaron panicked immediately, screaming about a frightening ghost. The mysterious woman questioned their reaction, confused why stones were thrown toward her repeatedly. The mysterious woman surfaced completely, scolding everyone for throwing objects while introducing herself unexpectedly there. Later, Aaron enjoyed herbal tea peacefully, appreciating a drink prepared from plants they cultivated. Lucia focused on sewing work, explaining she wanted helping Masatsugu with upcoming business plans. Aaron praised Lucia's craftsmanship enthusiastically, encouraging her while they relaxed and shared conversation. Lucia revealed spare cloth supplies, offering Aaron new clothing made from remaining materials available. Aaron explained her sewing experience came from slavery, revealing skills learned. Interested immediately, Aaron asked Lucia for an apron, and Lucia eagerly offered assistance and guidance. Aaron shyly requested sewing lessons, hoping to learn properly, rather than merely receiving finished clothes. Lucia happily accepted, appreciating Aaron's enthusiasm and suggesting they create clothing together from scratch. Both girls began measuring Aaron carefully, cooperating closely while planning garments suited for her. Lucia promised creating replacement pajamas later, while Aaron expressed gratitude and valued making them herself. Imagined many future memories together, Lucia believing their shared activities would continue for years. Aaron noticed Lucia's unusual reaction, though Lucia quickly dismissed concern and avoided further explanation. Both girls agreed enthusiastically to help, determined to finish preparations before Masatsugu's stall opened. Hearing their excitement from afar, Masatsugu wondered about the commotion while approaching curiously alone. The mysterious woman protested, scolding everyone for throwing objects while climbing from the well. Masatsugu remained composed, though Lucia and Aaron continued panicking and questioning the stranger's existence. The woman firmly denied being a ghost, introducing herself confidently, despite everyone's lingering suspicion. She dramatically revealed herself as She, a spirit goddess overseeing water spirits across the continent. Masatsugu doubted her extravagant introduction, suggesting medical attention while She cheerfully persisted anyway. She clung to Masatsugu, claiming great age and teasing his disbelief about her identity. Lucia observed as She admired Masatsugu's achievements, explained awakening after centuries sealed beneath land. Masatsugu offered polite congratulations, then departed with Lucia and Aaron despite She's persistent. She stopped them, insisting gratitude remained unfinished while revealing strict spirit traditions regarding lifelong chosen partners. She boldly selected Masatsugu and announced marriage intentions, leaving everyone stunned by her unexpected confession. Masatsugu immediately rejected She's proposal, bluntly stating she simply was not his preferred partner. She argued desperately, offering immortality and divinity, yet Masatsugu dismissed every suggestion without hesitation. Growing emotional, she promised restoring the dried well, hoping usefulness would change his opinion. Masatsugu clarified his objection concerned her clingy behavior, prompting Shiri to abandon marriage requests. Misunderstanding completely, she believed acceptance remained possible, while Lucia interrupted their increasingly awkward conversation. Lucia interrupted suddenly, finding Masatsugu and She together, while observing their suspicious interaction closely. With a frightening smile, Lucia requested private conversation time with She, alarming everyone immediately. She and Aaron dragged She away forcefully, leaving Masatsugu. Shy unaware of the future tensions, Aaron remained behind, turning toward Masatsugu, while clearly considering something important and personal. She warned Masatsugu patiently, insisting her future figure would improve greatly despite his teasing. Aaron delivered a serious warning before leaving, while Masatsugu remained puzzled by her behavior. Inside the building, She sulked tearfully, lamenting her position behind Lucia and Aaron already. Masatsugu demanded proof of usefulness, prompting She to restore water within the dried well. Lucia and Aaron excitedly checked the well, discovering fresh water flowing upward once again, despite appreciating results. Masatsugu accepted another troublesome resident, while Lucia praised She enthusiastically. Masatsugu compared managing She to raising an unruly pet, reflecting on constant responsibilities and unexpected challenges daily. Considering restored waters and purified corruption, Masatsu questioned his mysterious abilities. Recognizing many unanswered truths remaining before him, Masatsugu finished chores with Lucia, carrying bath supplies while discussing washing and cleaning. She stopped him, offering heated water assistance eagerly while following him across corridors with determined enthusiasm. She praised her magic's bathing comfort, while Masatsugu acknowledged improvements yet dismissed boasting and playful teasing. Lucia volunteered washing Masatsugu's back, prompting Erin's concern as competing offers quickly emerged among the group. She pulled everyone together toward bathing, leaving Masatsugu overwhelmed, as companions crowded closely around him cheerfully. Masatsu rejected shared bathing, yet insisted a logical reason existed, leaving them questioning. Lucia argued 4 people were necessary, claiming mutual backwashing required everyone entering together comfortably. Masatsu suggested washing alone instead, but Lucia suddenly realized a flaw within her reasoning. Erin and Lucia stretched dramatically, arguing their smaller bodies made independent washing extremely difficult. Masatsu exposed their faulty logic, explaining mutual backwashing never required bathing together whatsoever. Lucia defended group bathing again, claiming 4 participants enabled continuous backwashing without interruptions occurring. She supported Lucia's argument, insisting separate turns risked illness and reduced bathing efficiency considerably. Masatsugu abandoned debate entirely, accepting their enthusiasm while everyone headed toward the bath together. She, Erin, and Lucia relaxed happily within steaming water, enjoying warmth while recovering energy. Lucia stayed close beside Masatsugu, praising the warmth while reminding everyone about washing backs. Masatsugu sat between companions, allowing everyone to scrub comfortably while enjoying the bath together. Erin teased Masatsugu playfully, then became flustered when he accepted her suggestion seriously instead. Masatsugu formally requested permission, causing embarrassed Erin to reluctantly agree, despite obvious nervousness. While washing Erin's back carefully, Masatsugu faced interruption when Shidi demanded equal attention immediately. She clung against Masatsu confidently, teasing him about Erin while dismissing any awkward implications. She protested stubbornly, wanting Masatsu's attention while he compared her embrace to livestock jokingly. Masatsu requested waterfall, like water, recalling familiar washing methods and sparking Shi's excited cooperation immediately. Shie demonstrated impressive water manipulation, creating artificial rainfall across the bath area with ease. Following her instructions, Masatsugu stood beneath freezing water, treating the experience like rigorous training. Masatsugu explained the ritual's purpose, embarrassing Shiri greatly before dragging her away abruptly. She shivered beneath freezing water, accusing Masatsugu of cruelty while struggling against overwhelming discomfort. Refusing surrender, she grabbed Masatsugu tightly and dragged him directly beneath the waterfall too. Both endured freezing water miserably, arguing loudly while Lucia and Erin watched their chaos. Lucia suddenly declared cowgirls endangered, claiming their growing numbers created serious societal concerns. She launched another proclamation. While Erin objected immediately and Shii questioned the strange discussion, Shiti rushed toward Masatsugu inside the orphanage, loudly demanding attention. She insisted on playing house together, treating her request. Lucia protested that only she could share the father role with Masatsu. Shite ignored her objection and clung closer to him anyway, stubbornly. While their argument continued, repeated knocks interrupted everyone. Masatsu turned toward the entrance, realizing an unexpected visitor. 2 guests arrived, an elderly man and a stern guard. They greeted Masatsugu politely and requested a meeting regarding important matters requiring discussion. Observing Masatsu, the elder praised his capabilities from gathered reports. The guard sensed greater warmth beneath appearances than his imposing presence. Masatsu questioned the visitor's purpose and doubted they belonged near an orphanage. Judging refusal unwise, he invited them inside calmly. Inside the building, the elder introduced himself as Kinberg Titano, family head. He also presented Teo, his son and successor. Titano explained his family had business concerning Masatsugu. Hearing mention of previous abductors, Masatsugu immediately connected the matter together. Masatsugu expressed suspicion regarding their intentions. Titano clarified he opposed those criminals, arguing their capture benefited authorities and eased matters. Titano urged Masatsugu to remain calm and listen. When questioned further, Titano prepared himself before revealing his actual purpose. The visitor explained his family had already planned removing the former director. Their investigation began long before Masatsugu entered management. He revealed news about the orphanage led him to Masatsugu. The abductors acted independently, creating trouble that ultimately harmed him. Masatsugu remained unconvinced and questioned their visit. He insisted the former director's debts and affairs held no connection whatsoever. Titano produced documents and shifted discussion toward orphanage regulations. He asked Masatsu how much he understood about that system. He explained the orphanage property legally belonged to its previous director. Presenting a contract, he stated his duty clearly. Masatsugu understood Titano's explanation as a demand to surrender the orphanage. He directly asked whether everyone living there must leave. Titano admitted recovering the property remained his priority. Masatsugu proposed paying interest first, attempting to negotiate a practical solution instead. Seeking alternatives, Masatsugu asked about partial repayment. Titano revealed the debt reached 10 million, making such proposals unacceptable. Hearing the orphanage might close, Lucia, she, and Aaron panicked. Their loud reaction immediately disrupted the serious discussion. The girls rushed forward, begging Masatsugu not to abandon them. Confused by their response, he questioned what they meant. Lucia worried the orphanage would be seized for debt repayment. Masatsu firmly rejected that possibility, refusing to let their home disappear. Titano revealed his true objective and offered a proposal. He sought immediate recovery potions and promised flexibility regarding repayment deadlines. Learning the request involved potions, Masatsugu listened carefully. Aaron explained their healing properties while questioning why outsiders knew him. Taito explained his grandson suffered illness requiring constant treatment. Since intermediate potions were scarce, he begged Masatsugu to accept. Watching Titano's sincere plea, Masatsugu sensed genuine concern behind it. Family bonds and parental affection clearly mattered most here. Remembering precious things lost during childhood, Masatsugu quietly reflected while heading outside. A voice called for him, requesting patience briefly. He discovered Lucia, she, and Aaron following him. They insisted on helping gather potion materials for the orphanage's sake. Aaron confidently offered her knowledge about potion crafting. She promised support, determined to protect their orphanage alongside everyone. Lucia proposed locating herbs through her keen sense of smell. Masatsugu seemed uncertain, though she waited expectantly for approval. Accepting their determination, Masatsugu continued deeper into the forest. The girls followed closely, encouraged by his lack of objection, united by purpose. Lucia, Shii, and Aaron celebrated together. They vowed to protect Luna Orphanage and support Masatsu. Aaron explained potion making, teaching that cure plants and magical liquid formed medicine. She assigned gathering work. Lucia eagerly volunteered, believing her chance to assist had arrived. Determined and cheerful, she promised finding many cure plants. She paused and sniffed, relying on beastkin senses to locate ingredients. Hidden scents drifted across the area, guiding her toward a likely source. Lucia pointed confidently after detecting cure plants. Masatsu, Aaron, and companions followed, warning her to remain within protective distance always. She stopped and apologized, admitting excitement carried her away. Masatsugu received teasing remarks while Aaron requested protection for Lucia. Following Lucia's guidance, the group reached a patch of plants. Their search succeeded, and cure ingredients appeared plentiful. She proudly carried gathered leaves while Lucia investigated deeper scents. She believed larger clusters existed farther ahead, encouraging everyone's confidence. Lucia excitedly presented another discovery, believing it matched cure. She admired the find, yet uncertainty appeared, as details seemed different. Masatsu examined the plants carefully and explained the distinction. Cure carried a different scent, making mistakes common for inexperienced gatherers. Aaron identified the samples one by one while Lucia watched. Their selections included both gift plants and genuine cure plants. Masatsugu explained that stems revealed the difference. Cure had round stems while gift plants possessed distinctly shaped stems. Lucia admired Masatsugu's careful observations. He casually explained such identification methods were essential when gathering wild plants. Masatsugu revealed experience gained from difficult circumstances, and Aaron reacted with surprise, considering such practical skills uncommon among younger elves. She calculated the required ingredients and examined their collection. Producing an intermediate potion demanded many plants, making their gathered supply necessary. Shihai happily accepted responsibility for obtaining magical liquid ingredients. She sensed a source immediately and rushed off with confidence and enthusiasm. Shiri presented stable, magical liquid, and impressed everyone with its quality. Aaron prepared ingredients confidently, ready to begin potion mixing. Aaron crushed cure plants into gel and combined them with magical liquid. The group carefully observed mana reactions developing inside. She concentrated intensely during the final stage and monitored subtle changes. Shii watched closely while the mixture slowly stabilized. The process finished successfully, prompting everyone to gather around the container. Lucia eagerly requested confirmation regarding the completed potion's result. The examination revealed an ordinary potion rather than an advanced one. Aaron celebrated success anyway, crediting Sheed's magical liquid quality. Lucia volunteered to make a potion herself and eagerly accepted. Encouraged by everyone, she promised giving her utmost effort. Following Aaron's instructions, Lucia carefully ground the plants into paste. She checked progress, hoping her preparation matched expectations. Lucia nervously tasted the mixture and confirmed nothing. Masatsugu observed quietly while encouraging her toward the mixing stage. Working carefully through every step, Lucia completed the potion and presented it proudly. Breathing heavily, she requested an evaluation. The appraisal revealed a failed healing potion, despite Lucia's effort. Aaron offered advice, explaining practice was necessary while praising her manners. She confidently declared her turn and demonstrated potion making dramatically. She crushed ingredients, mixed liquid, channeled mana. The mixture reacted differently from Aaron's earlier attempt. Masatsugu noticed unusual energy gathering rapidly and suspected Shia's divine abilities affected results. Shie proudly presented the completed potion. Aaron instantly sensed danger, warned everyone and ordered the group to retreat. Moments later, the potion released overwhelming power and erupted skyward. A massive explosion struck the area, shaking the surroundings. Masatsugu's protection skill activated in time and shielded everyone. Exhausted but unharmed, the group recovered while dust slowly settled. She rushed back and apologized repeatedly for the disaster. Masatsu blamed her excessive spirit power, while everyone survived the accident. Aaron stared across the landscape while a mixing bowl rattled violently. The failed potion splashed outward. She panted and admitted her limits. She could produce beginner potions, yet intermediate mixtures continued resisting her efforts. Shiwi and Lucia blamed themselves for weaknesses affecting everyone. Their guilt deepened, as neither found reassuring answers. Lucia broke into tears, fearing separation from the family. Aaron and Shii shared the same painful concern and quietly gathered around her. Masatsugu approached and stopped their despair. He examined the situation, then prepared to address the problem directly with calm confidence and focus. Masatsu tasted Aaron's mixture and explained. Failure came from instability. He suggested handling magical overflow first before improving results. She, Lucia, and Aaron watched nervously while holding bowls. Their expressions shifted from confusion toward cautious expectation. Masatsu gathered ingredients and scraped material into a bowl. He added crushed leaves carefully, following a deliberate method without wasting any motion. The mixture brightened and bubbled as Masatsugu observed silently. He remained composed, checking each reaction with confidence and careful attention to detail. Once the process stabilized, Masatsu announced completion. The finished potion stood ready, proving knowledge mattered beyond talent alone. Masatsu presented the completed intermediate potion. Steam rose from the bowl, while its stable appearance demonstrated successful preparation and proper balance. She, Lucia, and Aaron stared in disbelief. Their shock quickly became excitement as they rushed forward, thanking Masatsugu enthusiastically. Aaron questioned why success appeared suddenly. Masatsugu raised 2 fingers and began explaining the important factors behind proper potion making. Masatsugu revealed his simple theory. He compared potion creation to vegetable soup, emphasizing practical understanding rather than mysterious complicated techniques. Aaron struggled processing his explanation. Masatsu stated potion crafting required extraordinary effort, while her methods resembled adding seasoning alone. Masatsu rejected Aaron's conclusion and stressed ingredient quality. He compared potion making with cooking, challenging her assumptions about preparation. Lucia misunderstood his point and praised his ingredient selection. Masatsu smirked, explaining he personally inspected materials before using them. Masatsu revealed the second requirement involved pouring large amounts of pure mana. Lucia acknowledged magical control remained an important factor. Aaron reacted with disbelief when hearing his method. The others stared shocked as Masatsugu described using extraordinary magical power. Masatsugu explained mana resembled blood flowing through living beings. Aaron accepted the results reluctantly, realizing established theories required reconsideration. Shai and Lucia celebrated Masatsugu's theory enthusiastically. Masatsugu warned them against revealing it, fearing trouble from interested parties. With potion production solved, Masatsugu decided the remaining 4 candidates could proceed. Everyone agreed, returning focus toward protecting the orphanage. The completed potions rested on a tray. Lucia happily noted success, while Masatsugu confirmed all 5 requirements had been fulfilled. Masatsugu suddenly sensed an approaching presence. He covered Lucia's mouth immediately, preventing noise as the group turned alert. A goblin emerged from the forest path and approached aggressively. Masatsugu moved before the others, preparing to confront the threat. She'd identified the creatures as goblins and explained their teamwork. Masatsugu listened carefully while everyone remained hidden and cautious. Eren overheard the goblins discussing potions intended for their king. She realized these enemies possessed intelligence beyond ordinary monsters. The goblins surrounded the group and demanded the potions. They threatened death immediately if their demands were refused completely. Lucia angrily rejected the demand and defended everyone. The group declared the potions indispensable, refusing surrender despite danger. The goblin leader responded with hostility and issued a final threat. Masatsugu stepped forward as both sides prepared for conflict. Masatsugu faced the goblins without hesitation, while Eren, Lucia, and Shie stood behind him. The goblin leader demanded surrender again. Several goblins rushed forward from different directions attempting intimidation. They mocked resistance and threatened suffering unless the group complied. A charging goblin suddenly cried out in pain. An unseen strike slashed its arm, stopping the attack immediately before contact. The surrounding goblins froze in confusion as blood sprayed. Masatsugu remained still while another attacker suffered the same wound. Masatsugu grabbed a metal tube and prepared calmly. Annoyed by the commotion, he readied himself against further attacks ahead. Masatsugu abandoned negotiations. Once goblins threatened his family. Holding his weapon firmly, he decided eliminating the attackers became necessary. The goblins protested angrily and boasted about their strength. Masatsugu ignored their claims and prepared to strike decisively. Lucia flinched as another goblin charged recklessly. The attackers believed numbers guaranteed victory and rushed toward the group. Masatsugu intercepted one goblin effortlessly and slapped its face. He seized the creature before throwing it away violently. Two goblins attacked together from opposite directions. Masatsugu reacted instantly, evading their strikes while maintaining complete control throughout. Masatsu's intimidating presence unsettled the goblins. One attacker realized his knife disappeared, while confusion spread rapidly among them. Moving smoothly, he slipped between enemies and threw stolen weapons. The goblins reacted too slowly to understand his actions. The flying knives struck their targets accurately. Injured goblins screamed in shock, unable to comprehend the overwhelming difference in skill. Fear replaced aggression as surviving goblins considered retreat. They decided escaping and reporting the encounter offered their only chance. Masatsugu refused to let them flee freely. He launched another attack, cutting off their escape route with speed. Masatsugu finished overwhelming the remaining goblins effortlessly. Their attacks failed completely, leaving them injured while he sighed calmly. Seeing no further threat, he declared the fight meaningless. He turned away from the battlefield and suggested returning. Lucia trembled with emotion while staring at him. She struggled to speak, overwhelmed by relief and admiration completely. Eren and she teased Lucia about her reaction. Masatsugu looked confused while they noticed her growing happiness clearly. The girls laughed together as the tension disappeared. Embarrassed, Masatsugu insisted protecting everyone simply belonged to his responsibilities. The group left the forest and headed back peacefully. Masatsugu carried supplies while everyone followed without further concern behind. Upon reaching town, they noticed unusual silence everywhere. Empty streets replaced expected crowds, making the situation feel suspicious. Lucia looked around carefully and pointed out the difference. The marketplace should have been busy, yet almost nobody appeared. Masatsugu spotted familiar figures from his summoned class. Their unexpected presence confused him because he had no reason. The others noticed his reaction and questioned him gently. Masatsugu dismissed their concerns, though his thoughts remained unsettled. As the group returned, they approached Titano inside a building. Titano recognized Masatsugu immediately. His troubled expression immediately suggested serious news awaited them. Titano hesitated nervously before speaking. Masatsugu approached calmly, while the girls watched quietly, sensing the conversation carried importance. The old man revealed the kingdom's decision. By direct royal order, Runa Orphanage would be confiscated from them. Shock spread across Masatsugu, Lucia, Shie, and Eren instantly. Another crisis threatened their home, leaving everyone stunned and concerned. Masatsugu arrived before Luna Orphanage and questioned rumors about reclaiming it, showing concern while examining the building carefully. Titano explained that funds from potion sales could repay debts tied to the property, requesting more time before any transfer was considered. Lucia tearfully scolded Titano, while the shocked elder struggled to understand how accumulated debts had been settled so quickly. Masatsu coldly stated his concerns centered on Titano's broken promise, not excuses about orders, leaving the elder uneasy. Taitano argued the orphanage depended on cooperation with local nobles, warning future conflict could disrupt supplies and threaten stability across the region. Masatsugu reminded Eren about worsening relations with a neighboring kingdom and possible war, when Duran rushed forward seeking help, Duran explaining an emergency, and Masatsu felt increasingly irritated following encounters with Mafia and Adventurers Guild. He revealed a goblin stampede was beginning, warning the missing Goblin King would arrive there by tomorrow noon. Eren immediately reacted in shock while she and Lucia panicked, realizing the reported catastrophe involved a dangerous goblin stampede approaching their area. Masatsugu stared blankly at the alarming announcement, struggling to process the sudden situation as questions filled his mind without any clear answer. Elsewhere, a group confirmed townsfolk had been evacuated successfully, then gathered within fortified streets while preparing defenses against danger. One soldier questioned the concern over a goblin stampede, yet accepted preparations were necessary and followed Masatsugu's instructions. A hooded woman explained the goblin stampede was a legendary calamity, leaving destruction behind while advancing relentlessly across lands. She theorized the king sought war through organized goblins, though reaching him required crossing countless enemies and surviving overwhelming odds. Confident in Masatsugu's strength, she expressed complete trust, while a soldier believed even famed heroes could not match him. A soldier dramatically drew a holy sword, declaring himself Miyamoto's successor, and boasting destiny had chosen him to protect kingdom. He laughed confidently, claiming the goblin threat meant nothing to him, while others watched nervously as he flaunted power. Eren and Lucia doubted his chances, believing even extraordinary fighters would perish against countless goblins advancing in formation. Masatsugu dismissed exaggerated expectations, reasoning ordinary summoned students shared human limits and could not suddenly become capable warriors. Duran abruptly knelt before Masatsugu, desperately begging for salvation, while the kingdom's fate seemed to rest upon him. Duran stressed the Adventurers Guild depended on Masatsugu, while Masatsugu questioned why an organization relied upon someone like him. Masatsugu examined an official document carefully, realizing the guild had prepared formal terms and genuinely intended serious cooperation. Duran explained guild leaders recognized Masatsugu's achievements, citing defeated threats and remarkable strength that placed him among elite adventurers. He insisted only Masatsu possessed enough influence and ability to command thousands against the goblin stampede successfully. Duran warned other powerful adventurers could not return quickly, begging Masatsugu for help as the kingdom faced destruction. Masatsugu asked Duran to raise his head, then calmly stated he finally understood the crisis threatening the kingdom completely. Duran expected acceptance, but Masatsugu smiled unexpectedly and announced his resignation, leaving everyone stunned by the sudden response. Duran urgently begged Masatsugu to save the kingdom, raising his voice with determination. Masatsugu answered calmly, rejecting the request. He argued the orphanage would suffer if the kingdom collapsed, causing Masatsu to pause briefly, while Duran reacted with shocked. Duran offered 5 million gil, then increased it to 10 million, yet Masatsu refused, explaining childcare was his work, not military service. Thoughts of the orphanage facing closure struck Masatsugu, hard, making him tremble and reconsider his stance. Lucia listened curiously as Masatsu suddenly claimed he had discovered a solution, prompting Duran to question him while awaiting an explanation. Masatsugu stopped Taitano from interrupting and outlined his condition, first demanding the Kimberg household prevent Luna Orphanage's foreclosure immediately. He confirmed Duran's promised 10 million gil reward while Duran formally swore the payment under his guild master's authority. Masatsu declared the entire reward should be transferred directly to the Kimberg household, leaving both Duran and Taitano stunned. When Duran asked, Masatsu calmly stated accepting the request while maintaining his condition regarding the reward's destination and intended purpose. He explained the arrangement would erase orphanage debts, repay the Kimberg family, and secure guild assistance, making Duran eagerly agree. Taitano accepted Masatsu's proposal on behalf of the Kimberg family, acknowledging the debts would disappear and ownership disputes end. With agreements secured, Masatsu confirmed the arrangement but stressed this mission remained exceptional because protecting the orphanage required it. Masatsu headed inside, carrying documents while Duran and Taitano departed satisfied. Then a familiar voice stopped his progress. Suddenly, Lucia stepped forward determinedly and declared she wanted to accompany Masatsu, showing strong resolve despite the dangerous assignment ahead. Eren and she immediately supported Lucia's decision, explaining separation threatened their home and promising to fight beside Masatsu. Lucia, Eren, and Shiai insisted they should fight together, reminding Masatsugu they were family and shared responsibility for protecting home. Masatsu quietly reflected on their words, repeating the idea of family while considering the determination shown by everyone. Seeing their earnest expressions, Masatsugu recognized their devotion and glanced toward the orphanage, understanding what awaited their return. The girls answered confidently while Masatsugu smiled and agreed they would defend the orphanage together, as one family. With spirits united, preparations quietly began as documents were handled and necessities gathered, marking the start of their mission. Eren studied the map and explained the battle would begin across Nalia Plains, while Masatsugu listened carefully to details. The group discussed travel plans and gathering information from soldiers and adventurers before reaching the battlefield ahead of conflict. Masatsugu rejected the suggested route and pointed elsewhere on the map, declaring their destination lay in another location. Reaching the northwestern section of Nalia Plains, the group arrived with a carriage and surveyed the surrounding terrain quietly. While Lucia shared soup with everyone, Masatsugu organized camp preparations and reminded them the mission required caution and discipline. Eren questioned their campsite choice, arguing allies and enemies alike avoided the area while doubting Masatsugu's unusual strategy completely. Masatsugu explained they would target the Goblin King directly instead of joining armies, believing circumstances created a winning opportunity. He revealed the kingdom's army would unknowingly serve as bait, leaving Eren, Shi, and Lucia shocked by his proposal. Masatsugu clarified goblins would concentrate on battling soldiers first, creating the distraction necessary for their objective elsewhere. Understanding the plan, Eren excitedly declared victory seemed possible, while Masatsugu confirmed her conclusion and earned enthusiastic admiration. Masatsugu explained the operation required all three girls and instructed them to rest because preparations would begin before battle. Deep into the night, Masatsugu remained awake inside the tent, feeling unusual tension, while the others slept peacefully. Looking over Shi and Eren, sleeping soundly beside him, Masatsugu checked on everyone and quietly watched without disturbance. Their relaxed expressions eased his worries somewhat, and he covered them carefully while appreciating their trust and companionship. Under the starlit sky, Lucia sat alone beyond camp, seemingly lost in thought as silence surrounded the landscape. Lucia sat alone beneath the moon, staring across the quiet landscape. She remained awake, burdened by thoughts she could not express. Masatsugu approached Lucia and noticed her restless state. She acknowledged his presence, while both shared a moment of silence. Standing beneath the bright moonlight, Masatsugu questioned whether Lucia viewed him as a monster. Lucia quickly denied the troubling thought. Lucia admitted she once considered Masatsugu cold and manipulative. Watching his actions closely, she realized her judgment had been mistaken. She explained that everyone recognized Masatsugu's kindness despite his attitude. She appreciated his efforts and trusted his intentions completely. Masatsugu dismissed Lucia's praise and insisted caring for everyone required little effort. He claimed gratitude was unnecessary, hiding feelings carefully. Lucia accepted his answer with a smile. His stubborn response only strengthened her belief that his kindness remained genuine. Gazing toward the moonlit horizon, Masatsugu spoke about his homeland. He described a small town and cherished memories there. Lucia admitted memories of her own homeland had faded. She apologized for interrupting, while Masatsugu welcomed her company. She revealed loneliness had troubled her deeply. Beside Masatsugu, her worries vanished, and his presence gave her courage again. Lucia decided to express gratitude toward Masatsugu, gathering courage. She approached him nervously and asked whether something was acceptable. Flustered beyond reason, Lucia struggled explaining herself clearly. Embarrassment overwhelmed her words, causing a misunderstanding that shocked them. Masatsugu interpreted her request differently and suggested traveling together. Lucia froze completely, unable to follow his unexpected conclusion. Confidently, Masatsugu explained his plan involved visiting his homeland. Lucia blushed intensely, still processing what he actually meant. Realizing the proposal concerned a journey to Kuran, Lucia stared blankly. Her imagination collapsed, replaced by stunned confusion. Lucia eagerly accepted Masatsugu's invitation and spoke about visiting his homeland. She wanted meeting his parents and honoring theirs. Strange vibrations spread across the ground. Masatsugu, Lucia, Shi, and Eren sensed danger approaching and focused ahead carefully. Countless goblins emerged from distant areas, moving together in enormous numbers. Their advance created tremors that spread widely. Eren recognized the phenomenon immediately and revealed its identity. Lucia and Shi reacted with shock at the discovery. A massive alliance gathered before the city gates preparing resistance. Masatsugu observed their anxious state and assessed conditions. Eren noticed the goblin horde suddenly halt behind the city walls. Masatsugu remained calm and considered the situation carefully. Observing their behavior, Masatsugu concluded the Goblin King was receiving commands. The halted formation suggested another presence directing movements. Masatsugu reflected on Lucia, Eren, and Shi. He felt their meeting carried significance beyond coincidence and ordinary fate, remembering his summoning. Masatsugu connected events surrounding Luna Orphanage. He suspected a hidden force guided them toward disaster. Reaching a conclusion, Masatsugu addressed the three girls. He believed they already understood what action needed taking next. She, Lucia, and Aaron accepted Masatsugu's plan without hesitation. Each promised support, determined to prevent disaster and protect everyone. Seeing their resolve, Masatsu expressed approval. Confidence spread among the group as they prepared for their mission. She enthusiastically declared the Luna Orphanage family's departure. United by shared purpose, the four began advancing toward danger together. Masatsugu gathered Lucia, Aaron, and Shiai before approaching goblins, asking their strengths. Lucia could fight. Aaron lacked experience, while Shiai supported allies. Hearing their answers, Masatsugu smiled awkwardly and explained they misunderstood his intentions completely, leaving the three girls confused. She guessed Lucia would fight goblins directly, but Masatsugu refused. He stated nobody would battle, surprising Lucia, Aaron, and Shiai. Masatsu praised Shia's abilities and assigned her logistical duties. Delighted, she accepted proudly while Lucia worried about his unusual strategy. Masatsu explained success depended on proper organization rather than combat. Confident in his plan, he prepared everyone. Masatsu gathered Lucia, Aaron, and Shi around him. Shi stepped forward confidently, asking everyone to watch carefully before beginning preparations. She announced she would cast amplification magic. Aaron looked surprised by the unfamiliar technique, while Masatsu calmly observed her enthusiasm. She cheerfully sang magical words and created splashing water effects. She enjoyed herself completely, treating the task like entertainment. The strange performance continued as she twirled and chanted repeatedly. Masatsugu stared blankly, struggling to understand her actions. Once finished, she proudly declared her work complete. She encouraged everyone to rest warmly and happily imagined returning home. Masatsu prepared to throw Shi toward goblins, alarming Aaron. Examining the results closely, Aaron realized Shi's unusual magic was genuine. Shi proudly confirmed the spell's authenticity. Even Aaron, knowledgeable about magic, struggled to understand the complicated chanting method completely. Aaron analyzed every detail carefully. Shi's movements, voice, and timing combined perfectly, creating a technique beyond ordinary magical understanding. Despite Aaron's serious evaluation, Masatsu remained unimpressed. He watched Shi's performance, expressionlessly, privately thinking she resembled a traveling clown. Dark clouds gathered overhead as the spell reached completion. Raindrops appeared first, then powerful rainfall descended exactly as intended. She proudly unleashed her completed spell upon the goblins. Masatsugu watched closely before realizing something about the strange rainfall. Questioned by Masatsu, she casually admitted she created boiling water instead of controlling weather. Her answer immediately shocked him. Masatsu explained heating water differed greatly from manipulating weather itself. She apologized innocently, though she remained proud of her abilities. Accepting the results regardless, Masatsu jokingly renamed Shia the Boiler. Delighted by recognition, she happily accepted the ridiculous title. Their discussion ended abruptly when Lucia spotted movement ahead. She urgently warned Masatsu that the goblins had finally begun advancing. Confused by boiling rain, the goblins rushed together believing humans attacked. They focused entirely on protecting their king from danger. Aaron confirmed Masatsu's strategy was succeeding perfectly. Watching the disorder spread, Masatsu calmly prepared the next phase carefully. Masatsugu called Lucia forward, estimating roughly 100 goblins remained. She steadied herself and confidently accepted the important task. The goblins searched frantically for their king. Following familiar scents through the crowd, they attempted identifying him quickly. Lucia concentrated on the gathered enemies and traced their movements. Reaching a conclusion, she located the Goblin King immediately. Lucia identified the Goblin King hidden among ordinary soldiers. Despite blending into the crowd, his commanding presence revealed him clearly. Masatsugu examined the target carefully and accepted Lucia's judgment. The Goblin King remained concealed, yet his aura distinguished him. He considered approaching personally, wondering how the king sensed his presence. Recognizing his limits, he trusted Lucia's tracking skills. Masatsu called for Aaron's assistance. Understanding the situation immediately, she stepped forward and prepared her spirit magic carefully. Before Aaron could begin, Lucia urgently called out. Masatsugu turned toward her voice, sensing an unexpected development approaching rapidly. Lucia worried about Masatsu's safety despite trusting his strength. She urged him to return alive. Masatsu calmly revealed his unusual power, explaining that repeated encounters with goblins had taught him valuable lessons already through experience. Eren prepared spirit magic and promised support. Following her encouragement, Masatsugu accepted the plan and stepped forward toward the Hidden King without hesitation. Masatsugu activated the enhancement, feeling remarkably light. Testing the effect, he bounced across the ground with effortless speed and confidence. Eren suddenly noticed Masatsu accelerating beyond expectations. Shocked, she called his name repeatedly, while the other watched the rapid advance. Eren tried calling out to Masatsu before his charge. Strong winds drowned her voice, leaving her flustered and unable to explain herself. Watching Eren struggle desperately, Masatsu misunderstood completely. He assumed she wanted encouraging words and smiled quietly. Certain of victory, Masatsugu reassured everyone and accelerated further. His enhanced body crossed the battlefield rapidly, closing distance. Masatsu fixed his gaze ahead and refused hesitation. Confidence filled his expression as he declared he would not lose. A powerful gust swept across the field during his advance. Eren suddenly noticed something missing and became alarmed immediately. Masatsu had unknowingly lost part of his clothing while running. Eren, Lucia, and Shiai stared speechlessly at the ridiculous situation. The goblin army suddenly halted its advance, watching from afar. Miyamoto concluded the monsters feared the summoned hero's presence. Durin tried stopping the heroes from advancing recklessly. Miyamoto dismissed the warning confidently and pushed forward without hesitation. Certain of his own abilities, Miyamoto smirked proudly before the crowd. He prepared himself dramatically, expecting a glorious heroic appearance. Among the goblins, their leader quietly observed the situation. Receiving a report, he calmly considered the approaching humans without panic. Before either side moved closer, a massive strike crashed into the ground. The sudden impact forced goblins everywhere to react. The Goblin King watched calmly as debris settled across the battlefield. Buried beneath rubble, a human figure emerged before him. Standing among shattered rocks, Masatsugu faced the Goblin King directly. He questioned whether the ruler had caused the destruction. Masatsugu challenged the Goblin King openly. Criticizing his treatment of subordinates, he invited the monster ruler to face him. Confident and smiling, he declared every distraction removed. He proposed a direct duel, refusing to be intimidated by threats. The Goblin King accepted proudly and revealed his title. Boasting immense power and authority, he prepared himself for battle. The Goblin King launched repeated attacks, smashing the battlefield violently. Masatsugu advanced through the destruction calmly, avoiding every strike effortlessly. Watching from a distance, Lucia, Eren, and Shie grew worried. Massive impacts shook the ground while Masatsugu remained hidden. Believing victory certain, the Goblin King mocked Masatsugu. He dismissed the human completely and considered the battle already decided. Masatsugu answered casually and revealed the truth. The Goblin King had only forced him to use a single finger. Stunned by the revelation, the Goblin King challenged Masatsugu directly. Gripping his weapon tightly, he demanded a proper response. Masatsugu pressed forward effortlessly while restraining the Goblin King. Curious about his opponent's strength, he noted deep disappointment instead. Furious from humiliation, the Goblin King launched another attack. Masatsu calmly questioned his actions while avoiding the strike completely. The assault failed immediately. Crashing through rubble and debris, the Goblin King lost momentum and struggled to regain control. Masatsu counterattacked decisively, with overwhelming speed. Several powerful blows landed consecutively, leaving the Goblin King unable to respond effectively. Reeling from repeated impacts, the Goblin King staggered backward. His confidence crumbled as the one-sided battle continued relentlessly. Masatsu declared nobody threatening his orphanage would escape. Standing amid dust and rubble, he remained completely confident and unshaken. Breathing heavily, the Goblin King admitted defeat seemed near, yet he warned Masatsugu that the battle was unfinished. Raising a hand, the Goblin King addressed an unseen existence. Masatsugu watched silently, uncertain about his strange behavior. The Goblin King offered himself as a vessel and begged for power. Uneasy, Masatsugu sensed something dangerous approaching rapidly. A massive presence suddenly descended upon the battlefield. Dark energy gathered everywhere, leaving Masatsu confused as reality itself changed. The ritual succeeded as a terrifying presence descended into the Goblin King. Excited goblins celebrated, believing overwhelming power had arrived. The transformed ruler suddenly screamed in pain. His body twisted violently, suggesting the summoned force exceeded his limits completely. A dark figure emerged and spoke strangely. Observing calmly, Masatsugu wondered how such immense magic appeared without consequences. The creature continued changing grotesquely. Flesh expanded, limbs distorted, and monstrous features multiplied as the transformation progressed uncontrollably before everyone. The mutation finally produced a gigantic demon-like monster towering above Masatsu. Studying it carefully, he considered his next move. A fallen king lay wounded among rubble while a monstrous creature noticed him. Its many eyes focused sharply, revealing dangerous intent. The beast rose from its position and expanded its massive form before Masatsu, who watched quietly without retreating. Masatsugu stared at the creature and judged its behavior coldly. He realized it no longer recognized its own kind and pitied its decline. Enraged by the remark, the monster threatened Masatsugu and clung to wounded pride as a king refusing reason. The creature charged forward, declaring death upon Masatsugu, yet he remained calm, preparing to face the attack with confidence. Masatsugu watched calmly as enormous tentacles struck the ground around him. Cracks spread through rock while he avoided. Studying the pattern, Masatsugu realized every tentacle moved separately. The discovery explained their coordination and made the threat far more dangerous. Several tentacles descended together and cornered Masatsugu briefly. He slipped between attacks, then stomped one appendage hard, causing pain. The monster roared in agony. Masatsugu clicked his tongue, recognizing the battle remained difficult, despite gaining a small advantage. Believing victory certain, the creature opened countless jaws. He faced the display without hesitation or fear, keeping his stance steady. Masatsu smirked and revealed his plan. The monster hesitated in confusion, realizing its apparent advantage had relied upon deception alone. Its enormous body stiffened as uncontrolled tentacles wrapped around it. Multiple appendages tangled together, restricting movement. Masatsugu observed calmly while the monster struggled against itself. He mocked its simple actions and questioned whether it controlled anything. Analyzing the result, Masatsugu explained his conclusion. Independent tentacles could attack one another, turning the monster's strength into weakness. The creature screamed while its body tore itself apart. Masatsu declared the king finished and watched its miserable end unfold. Masatsu questioned whether a curse kept the Goblin King alive despite ruin. Drawing his sword, he offered release through death. Raising the blade overhead, Masatsu admitted the Goblin King was the first opponent, forcing him to wield a sword at full strength. Believing a single decisive strike would suffice, Masatsu measured the distance carefully. The Goblin King briefly questioned his identity as Masatsu leaped forward. Between broken tentacles, the monster showed fleeting clarity and awareness once more. Masatsugu answered simply that he managed an orphanage, then advanced. His attack crashed down while debris scattered, and the defeated king collapsed. The Goblin King mocked Masatsugu's claim yet listened carefully. Masatsugu explained victory came from his role and responsibilities protecting others. Masatsugu revealed his ability, granted overwhelming power whenever orphanage children needed protection. Declaring that purpose firmly, he unleashed another strike. The battle ended completely as the landscape transformed from destruction. Examining his damaged weapon, Masatsugu considered finding another sword. Standing within the altered terrain, Masatsugu noticed distant movement. His attention shifted toward an approaching force gathering beyond the horizon. Elsewhere, Miyamoto addressed surrounding people with confidence while chaos spread across the area. He urged everyone onward as strange disturbances continued. Miyamoto stood before a wounded goblin and proudly challenged it. Confident in his reputation, he demanded another opponent step forward. The goblin attacked fiercely and injured Miyamoto. Shocked companions rushed toward him while the monster continued pressing forward. Despite visible fear, Miyamoto forced a confident smile. Gripping the holy sword tightly, he insisted there was absolutely nothing concerning, attempting to maintain authority. Miyamoto repeated his claims confidently. His expression suggested determination, though sweat revealed growing pressure and doubt. Miyamoto shouted dramatically and launched a powerful strike. The goblin suffered a deep wound while he praised his own greatness. Miyamoto stood over a fallen goblin with sword ready. Believing victory secured, he watched the battlefield while remaining completely unaware. Surveying the field, Miyamoto claimed enemy numbers had decreased greatly. He urged everyone to stay calm and continue searching. A sudden discovery changed the group's focus immediately. Miyamoto pointed ahead and loudly declared that the Goblin King appeared before them. The supposed Goblin King stood larger than surrounding goblins. His unusual presence and calm appearance convinced many he commanded them. Miyamoto confidently accepted the conclusion and prepared for battle. Encouraging everyone to charge together, he sought glory through victory. Masatsugu watched the distant battlefield and concluded Miyamoto would handle the remaining cleanup. Satisfied, he prepared to leave quietly unnoticed. The Goblin King's body gradually disappeared into smoke and fragments. Masatsu welcomed that outcome, since attention would never reach him. With the conflict finished, Masatsu decided returning mattered most. Unaware of his efforts, the orphanage girls awaited him happily. Lucia spotted inexpensive potatoes at a crowded market and eagerly informed Masatsugu, believing extra supplies would help support everyone. While children pulled him forward toward attention, Masatsugu considered buying potatoes as seeds instead. A public celebration gathered around the streets, and Lucia noticed a celebrated hero approaching, leaving her quietly puzzled about his presence. The hero Miyamoto rode through cheering crowds on horseback, waving confidently while receiving gratitude, as petals drifted across the route before many admiring spectators. Watching the parade, Masatsugu remained unimpressed and wondered what powerful goblins would think about Miyamoto's reputation and his grand public display. Lucia immediately corrected the crowd's story, declaring Masatsugu defeated the Goblin King, while townspeople continued praising Miyamoto's achievements instead publicly. The surrounding listeners reacted with confusion, questioning Lucia's claim because everything they heard credited Miyamoto for the kingdom's safety. Seeing attention gathering around them, Masatsugu grabbed Lucia's hand and guided her away before arguments spread through the crowd. Lucia followed reluctantly, carrying supplies while glancing back toward the parade, still dissatisfied that Masatsugu's accomplishments remained completely overlooked. Leaving the celebration behind, Masatsugu calmly reminded Lucia not to make unnecessary remarks, preferring quiet living over recognition and fame. Lucia urged Masatsugu to reveal the truth, fearing others would steal credit, yet he rejected fame and preferred remaining unnoticed. Masatsugu explained he wanted a peaceful, quiet life, valuing ordinary days more than recognition, status, rewards, or public admiration. Relieved by his answer, Lucia smiled brightly and agreed, while Masatsugu shifted attention toward completing important paperwork without delay. While returning, Lucia mentioned Aaron might be online, then noticed someone calling Masatsugu's name, causing both to stop. Ruby welcomed Masatsugu warmly, joking about her father's obsession with him, then invited the respected hero to visit again. Ruby persisted in recruiting Masatsugu, but he refused firmly, prioritizing orphanage responsibilities while warning her against disrupting his plans. She revealed guild leaders secretly witnessed the Goblin King battle, proving Masatsugu's strength had already attracted influential attention everywhere. Remembering the fight, Masatsugu realized observers had monitored everything, including his decisive victory, despite believing nobody remained watching. Ruby listed further evidence of his abilities, leaving Masatsugu frustrated because every effort to stay unnoticed had failed completely. Seeking support, she pulled Lucia closer and encouraged her opinion, hoping the Beast Girl would help persuade Masatsugu further. Lucia immediately supported Masatsugu's wishes, pleading for him to remain with everyone, while Ruby jokingly admitted she expected that response. Ruby accepted the setback calmly, comparing her pursuit to fishing, then reminded Masatsugu that the guild would keep waiting. She departed confidently, promising another visit, while Lucia celebrated returning beside Masatsugu, who considered Ruby's efforts completely wasted. Later, Aaron arrived carrying paper prototypes, explaining she gathered materials personally and proudly presented the results for evaluation. Masatsugu examined the samples carefully, criticizing most sheets as fragile. Though acknowledging one version felt soft and resisted tearing, Aaron nervously explained her paper met basic requirements, highlighting that children could produce it from garden weeds, and write clearly. Masatsugu approved the prototype, prompting Lucia and Aaron to celebrate enthusiastically together while he watched their reaction without complaint. Lucia praised Masatsugu's achievement excitedly as plans formed to sell picture books, making previously exclusive reading materials widely available. While Lucia and Aaron discussed the paper, Masatsugu suddenly realized another successful project had emerged from his growing efforts. The following morning, Shiai appeared outside the orphanage ruins and greeted everyone cheerfully, drawing immediate attention from those present. Shiai appeared before Masatsugu and Aaron, prompting teasing remarks about another accident. While she protested being treated disrespectfully again, she admitted her magic practice damaged part of the building, then argued she needed freedom to experiment. While drinking tea, Masatsugu discovered she had eaten available food supplies, leaving Lucia and Aaron shocked while he struggled with mounting frustrations. As complaints continued from every direction, Masatsugu wondered what new problem awaited, exhausted by constant disturbances around him. Before peace returned, a stern woman arrived suddenly, identified Masatsugu, and declared he was under arrest without explanation. A stern officer named Eustacia arrived searching for Masatsugu, but he criticized her rude entrance, forcing the unexpected visitor to reconsider manners. Acknowledging his complaint, Eustacia apologized immediately, surprising Masatsugu with her honesty and briefly easing tension between them. Eustacia revealed her position as a Kingdom Child Protection Inspector, finally explaining why she had specifically sought Masatsugu. Without hesitation, Eustacia accused Masatsugu of child abuse and demanded surrender, leaving him completely bewildered by the allegation. Their argument shifted awkwardly when Masatsugu addressed her improperly, prompting Eustacia to correct him and demand greater respect. Suddenly, Lucia placed herself between Masatsugu and Eustacia, complaining they stood excessively close, as she became trapped within their dispute. She denied wanting conflict, prompting Masatsu to calm matters and address Eustacia properly, allowing their conversation to continue. Eustacia strangely interpreted Masatsu, remembering her name as recognition of her authority, while he dismissed that reasoning completely. Ignoring objections, Eustacia repeated accusations and threatened custody measures, causing onlookers to question whether she acted seriously. Masatsu refused compliance, arguing ignorance of local laws changed nothing because he would not admit guilt for crimes. Eustacia demanded evidence supporting Masatsugu's innocence, insisting he kept pretending nothing happened while maintaining her aggressive investigation stance. She explained the accusation originated from information reaching authorities through royal channels, leaving Masatsu confused about such attention. Eustacia revealed the complaint involved she, Aaron, and Lucia, claiming information suggested Masatsugu had acted improperly toward them. Hearing the accusation, Masatsugu awkwardly admitted he had indeed done something involving the three girls, alarming everyone instantly. Lucia hurriedly clarified Masatsu behaved honorably, explaining he never crossed boundaries despite sharing living space, strongly defending his character. Lucia explained their sleeping arrangements existed for practical reasons, while Aaron supported her statement and Eustacia listened carefully instead. Aaron innocently admitted dependence on Masatsugu and mentioned surrendering her knife, causing Eustacia to misunderstand the situation further. She quickly denied any wrongdoing, explaining discussions focused on future children and names, making the accusation entirely mistaken. Eustacia grew embarrassed yet remained suspicious, interpreting their comments as signs of romance, while imagining an unusually large family. Furious, Masatsugu rejected every implication immediately, while she proudly revealed she already prepared names, deepening his frustration considerably. Masatsugu dismissed the accusation as unbelievable, urging Eustacia to state her concerns directly rather than relying on weak suspicions. Unsatisfied, Eustacia declared she would stay inside Luna Orphanage, personally, determined to investigate conditions and verify everything herself. Her announcement shocked Masatsu, while Lucia interpreted it as constant supervision intended to prevent any questionable behavior whatsoever. Lucia and Aaron welcomed Eustacia politely, discussing sleeping arrangements, while Eustacia insisted they need not worry about Masatsu. Ignoring Masatsu's objections, Aaron supported the arrangement, believing Eustacia should observe orphanage life directly before reaching conclusions herself. Masatsugu reluctantly accepted Eustacia's presence, while she argued her suspicions would disappear once she observed orphanage life properly. Eustacia agreed to stay but demanded conditions first, prompting Masatsu to establish strict household rules before accepting her. Masatsugu explained meal schedules carefully, emphasizing regular attendance because proper nutrition remained essential for everyone's health and well-being. He continued listing rules regarding shared meals and bedtime, leaving Eustacia silently listening while others appeared completely accustomed. When Eustacia agreed without complaint, Masatsugu offered food preparation immediately, confusing her and making him question her reaction. Eustacia accepted the arrangement with an amused smile, placing herself under Masatsugu's care, while concealing whatever thoughts lingered beneath. Masatsugu led Eustacia inside, joking that orphanage life offered little wealth, while Aaron guided her toward the prepared room. Eustacia began observing daily life closely, questioning how long authorities would tolerate such conditions as Masatsugu remained unconcerned nearby. Eustacia angrily examined a cup of coffee while accusations against the orphanage increased. She suspected deception and questioned the drink's quality entirely. Masatsu calmly explained coffee came from roasted beans gathered in distant mountains. The children listened curiously while Eustacia remained unconvinced. Still, Eustacia expected resistance yet found Masatsu unusually relaxed. She decided to test the beverage personally before accepting any explanation offered. Lucia guessed Masatsu seemed excited because Eustacia risked poisoning. Masatsugu denied that claim, assigning extra vegetables as punishment instead. She remained confused by the punishment. Eustacia agreed to drink the coffee, while Masatsugu prepared introducing another product soon. Eustacia fiercely defended her confidence, declaring coffee harmless. She drank a large mouthful immediately, determined proving her judgment completely correct. The scorching coffee burned Eustacia's mouth instantly. Lucia, Aaron and she rushed toward Masatsu, while Aaron carefully wiped his face. Everyone sampled the coffee and shared opinions. Lucia praised its smooth taste, while Masatsugu received criticism for his questionable cooking skills. Masatsugu checked Eustatia's condition seriously. She remained unharmed, and he warned everyone against excessive drinking because coffee could prevent sleep. Eustacia apologized for causing trouble and bowed respectfully. Masatsugu accepted calmly, mentioning punishment only for wasting food unnecessarily. Masatsu gathered everyone inside the kitchen and announced another new product. The group listened attentively, while preparations began without delay. Outside, Masatsugu revealed furniture and a sign for Luna Cafe. He inspected everything proudly as the girls finished changing. Lucia, Aaron, and she appeared wearing matching maid outfits. Their cheerful expressions showed excitement while presenting the completed cafe theme. Lucia admired the outfit enthusiastically and thanked Masatsugu for inspiring the idea. Working in such clothes felt exciting to her. Aaron felt embarrassed and doubted the outfit suited her appearance. Masatsugu disagreed immediately, insisting the clothing matched everyone perfectly. Aaron blushed deeply while remembering praise from everyone. Embarrassed by their compliments, she quietly admitted gratitude, despite feeling overwhelmed. Shiri revealed her altered outfit accidentally exposed much more skin. The others reacted immediately while she panicked over the mistake. Eustacia reluctantly wore the maid uniform and questioned the requirement. Masatsu explained employees needed matching appearances and shared responsibilities. He suggested Eustacia could refuse if uncomfortable. Eustacia rejected that option, insisting she should contribute while living there. Eustacia doubted the outfit suited her appearance. Masatsugu argued aprons looked good on women generally, leaving her flustered and speechless. Masatsugu honestly told Eustacia the aprons suited her well. The girls silently agreed, leaving her embarrassed by the unexpected praise. Accepting the situation reluctantly, Eustacia finished dressing properly. Everyone gathered together, ready to proceed with the cafe preparations immediately. Masatsugu announced Luna Cafe would become the world's first establishment of its kind. The girls celebrated enthusiastically and welcomed the opening. Customers sampled coffee curiously and discussed its unusual bitterness. Masatsugu explained its foreign origins, attracting interest from the gathered visitors. Lucia charmed an elderly customer through friendly conversation. Meanwhile, Masatsu promoted coffee as a rare specialty, encouraging greater customer interest. Lucia smiled warmly after receiving praise from a customer. Though embarrassed by the attention, she expressed sincere gratitude cheerfully. Aaron reported suspicious visitors had returned searching for her. She described their requests, while Masatsugu dismissed them and protected her. She ignored formal titles and focused on serving customers. The troublesome visitors complained loudly, but she continued working confidently. Masatsugu noticed Eustacia looked unhappy while working. He assumed difficult customers caused trouble, yet she denied being bothered directly. Eustacia admitted practicing smiles exhausted her quickly. Masatsu suggested handling orders personally, leaving her surprised by the straightforward proposal. Eustacia followed Masatsu's advice and approached customers directly. Her stern expression startled an elderly man, though she remained determined. The customer hesitated while ordering coffee. Eustacia corrected his wording repeatedly, creating tension despite trying to handle requests properly. Realizing her mistake, Eustacia formally confirmed the order and apologized. The customer accepted calmly, ending the uncomfortable exchange peacefully. Eustacia immediately summoned Masatsu for assistance with the coffee order. Her dramatic request surprised both him and the customer. Masatsugi explained Eustacia frightened customers unintentionally. She defended her efficiency proudly, while he questioned her suitability as waitress. Masatsugu apologized sincerely for Eustacia's behavior toward a customer. Eustacia protested immediately, while he promised addressing matters personally later. The customer surprised everyone by praising Eustacia enthusiastically. He admired her intimidating service style and promised returning for another visit. Masatsugu felt relieved some customers remained reasonable. His thoughts ended abruptly when Lucia and Aaron approached him together suddenly. Aaron and Lucia appeared strangely flushed and distracted. Their unusual expressions worried Masatsu, who questioned what had happened recently. Masatsu suspected alcohol consumption caused their condition. Lucia then declared affection openly, leaving him completely shocked by her statement. Lucia spoke affectionately while half asleep from the coffee. She shared childish wishes with Masatsugu, leaving Aaron worried beside her. Several customers misunderstood the situation completely. They believed Masatsugu had charmed Lucia, causing irritation throughout the gathered crowd there. Shiai offered bizarre comfort with excessive enthusiasm. Eustacia immediately scolded everyone, questioning why common sense had disappeared entirely. Masatsugu ended the commotion by announcing closing time. With coffee beans exhausted, he ordered everyone home and restored order. The customers departed reluctantly while Eustacia considered the incident carefully. She suspected the coffee's strong effects influenced the girls. Eustacia watched carefully as Masatsu and she walked away, determined finding the truth. She planned investigating the coffee incident thoroughly. Lucia and Aaron regained clarity gradually. Both remembered opening the cafe, yet neither recalled their embarrassing words or actions. Masatsu banned Lucia and Aaron from drinking coffee again. Exhausted from everything, the group agreed resting early sounded best. Masatsugu noticed Shiai approaching, while others discussed an announcement. She asked about joining the bath, leaving him unsure. Shiai proudly revealed the source, drawing attention and raising curiosity among everyone present at once. Masatsugu examined the completed hot spring area. He realized this explained repeated disappearances, connecting several puzzling observations together. She worried she had upset him somehow. Masatsugu reflected on her kindness, considering how difficult praise felt previously within his former class life. Trying to express appreciation, Masatsugu patted Shiai's head. She immediately celebrated with delight, while his embarrassment remained visible on his face for moments. She happily celebrated Masatsugu's head pat. Eustacia interrupted the moment, requesting a private discussion while accusing him of embarrassing. Eustacia questioned their bathing arrangement with suspicion. Masatsu calmly admitted they bathed together, leaving her stunned and deeply concerned. Outraged, Eustacia declared his behavior unacceptable. Masatsugu defended himself, explaining the children needed assistance, and he simply helped them wash. Eustacia refused his explanation and insisted wrongdoing existed. She announced her intention to investigate personally, determined to verify everything herself. She proposed joining the bath to gather evidence while protecting the children. Masatsu reluctantly accepted, though discomfort showed clearly throughout. Eustacia entered the bath area for her investigation. Wearing simple swimwear, she remained alert, carefully observing the surroundings and everyone present. Shihi appeared, wearing an outfit she considered attractive. Eustacia admired her appearance, causing Eustacia to stare in surprise. The compliments continued as attention gathered around Shi. Delighted by the praise, she accepted it happily while others examined her. Eustacia approached Shi with growing curiosity. She questioned how Shi achieved such a figure, seeking details with serious interest. Elsewhere, Masatsugu relaxed in the hot spring alone. He appreciated the peaceful atmosphere, reflecting on how refreshing the place felt. The group relaxed within the hot spring while Eustacia tested the water. Their discussion shifted toward Shi's figure and recent comparisons. Masatsu overheard part of the conversation. Confused by the topic, he questioned why everyone seemed focused on Shi's appearance. His response created further misunderstanding. Masatsugu insisted he lacked interest in the subject, though his explanation sounded awkward instead. Lucia and Aaron reacted differently to the discussion. Their comments revealed personal curiosity, causing Eustacia's frustration to increase greatly. Eustacia concluded the reasons seemed obvious. She believed Shi's feelings for Masatsugu explained why everyone cared about the matter. Masatsugu accepted Eustacia's assumption without resistance. Shiai immediately protested loudly, denying accusations while protecting her dignity from embarrassing claims. Eustacia insisted her investigation remained unfinished. Masatsu pointed out she had witnessed nothing improper, challenging the basis of her suspicions. Refusing to concede, Eustacia declared greater effort was necessary. She unexpectedly challenged Masatsugu to a washing contest, catching him off guard. Masatsu questioned her behavior calmly. Eustacia defended her actions, claiming his attitude crossed boundaries and required firm correction immediately. The challenge placed them face-to-face awkwardly. Both stared in confusion, realizing the situation appeared stranger than expected. Masatsu questioned Eustacia's strange strategy, arguing a washing match revealed nothing. She insisted exposing weaknesses would prove everything. Lucia and Aaron imagined Eustacia hunting evidence relentlessly, picturing dramatic accusations against Masatsugu, despite lacking convincing proof of wrongdoing. Eustacia boldly declared victory conditions, claiming she would win by preventing misconduct while exposing suspicious behavior. Masatsu dismissed her challenge, noting she assumed guilt without evidence. Eustacia mocked his calmness, hoping to provoke a stronger reaction. Rather than retreat, Masatsugu accepted the confrontation, declaring his pride and responsibility toward the orphanage would not allow surrender under pressure. Both competitors gripped their washing cloths, exchanged fierce stares, and officially began their absurd contest, with neither side yielding first. Eustacia and Masatsugu argued fiercely during their investigation. Neither accepted defeat, turning a simple disagreement into an intense personal contest. The contest shifted unexpectedly when Masatsu criticized Eustatia's hair condition. He pointed out damage, catching her completely off guard. Determined to prove her innocence, Eustacia resisted his claims. Masatsugu explained the signs carefully, presenting observations that supported his conclusion. While considering his explanation, Eustacia recalled recent activities. Frequent encounters with fire butterflies made her suspect a possible cause. Masatsugu assured her the damage remained limited. He recommended proper treatment and daily care, leaving Eustacia relieved and grateful. After receiving advice, Eustacia gratefully thanked Masatsugu. Excited by the discovery, she rushed toward the changing room immediately afterward. While searching inside, she struggled to locate an item. Masatsu questioned her efforts, believing the missing object seemed obvious. The search continued unsuccessfully through shelves and belongings. Eustacia considered theft possible, though neither could confirm what happened yet. Eustacia returned frustrated and accused Masatsu of deception. Meanwhile, he relaxed peacefully in the spring, enjoying the warm water. Masatsugu argued that losing sight of her meant victory. Eustacia reluctantly admitted defeat, ending their strange competition at last. Lucia approached the bath and apologized for interrupting. She explained curiosity brought her there, then questioned Masatsu's unusual interests. Eren suddenly accused Masatsu of touching her. Confused by the claim, he denied wrongdoing while Lucia watched the exchange closely. She enthusiastically supported the accusation, prompting Eustacia to declare an arrest. Masatsugu remained bewildered by the escalating situation entirely. Lucia defended Masatsu's character and rejected the allegations, yet her reaction hinted she secretly hoped for different attention instead. Encouraged by embarrassment, Lucia blurted reckless words toward Masatsugu. Chaos followed immediately, while everyone reacted strongly to her outburst. The argument ended abruptly when a terrified scream echoed through the bath. Masatsugu and Eustacia turned toward the disturbance immediately. A gigantic squid suddenly emerged from the water. Its enormous body towered above everyone, shocking the bathers and creating panic. While others panicked, Masatsu identified the creature. Eustacia recognized it as the feared king squid, a dangerous sea monster. The monster attacked without hesitation. Eustacia moved forward to confront it, while Masatsugu realized the situation had become serious. Eustacia raised her shield and challenged the creature directly. Refusing to retreat, she prepared herself against the squid's assault. Eustacia revealed her family's treasured shield, correcting Masatsugu's assumption. She proudly explained its significance while preparing against the monster. Masatsugu praised her remarkable power. Trusting her abilities, he urged her toward rescue efforts. Though she explained strict limitations, the king squid struck suddenly and seized several girls. Panic spread quickly as its tentacles dragged them away helplessly. The monster's attack worsened the situation. Towels slipped away during the struggle, leaving the captured girls flustered and distressed. Shiori reacted dramatically to the embarrassing incident. Lucia became speechless, overwhelmed by confusion while worrying about Masatsugu's reaction greatly. Eren panicked while trapped by the squid. Embarrassed and confused, she worried Masatsugu would witness everything before rescuing her safely. Masatsugu realized the monster's behavior seemed unusual. Warning Eustacia about another attack, he rushed forward while remaining cautious. The squid launched a strange substance instead of attacking directly. Eustacia watched in confusion as the unexpected assault unfolded. Covered completely by the squid's ink, Eustacia stood frozen with disbelief. The squid retreated, leaving her furious and humiliated. Masatsu rescued Lucia and carried her from danger. Though shaken by events, she accepted his help while everyone recovered. Masatsu explained the squid ink could benefit skin and damaged hair. Eustacia remained furious, criticizing him while demanding answers immediately. She denied responsibility for bringing the monster there. Confused by the accusation, she insisted nothing unusual had appeared previously. Eustacia blamed Masatsu's negligence as orphanage manager. He ignored her criticism, noticing something suspicious, and considering the situation carefully. Standing among the remains, Masatsu examined the monster closely. Realizing a greater threat existed, he questioned what everything meant. Masatsugu shared dinner with Lucia, Eren, and Shi, while Eustacia questioned him seriously, suspecting he still slept beside the orphan girls. Masatsu calmly admitted Eustacia's suspicion was correct, causing her expression to stiffen instantly as she realized he saw nothing unusual. Eustacia firmly explained unmarried girls should not share sleeping quarters with a man, convincing Masatsu that her criticism carried reasonable weight. Eustacia proudly declared she would sleep beside Lucia and Eren instead. Believing her decision solved the problem without further debate, she volunteered to sleep with Masatsugu instead. While Lucia and Eren left together, leaving Eustacia's arrangement completely ineffective. Lucia and Aaron worried they might inconvenience Eustacia, but she confidently volunteered, insisting she could manage sleeping arrangements without difficulty. Eustacia gathered Lucia and Aaron onto the bed, smiling proudly while believing her presence would maintain proper boundaries within everyone. Lying between the girls, Eustacia felt completely confident, convinced she could prevent misunderstandings and prove Masatsu unnecessary during bedtime hours. During sleep, Lucia and Aaron unconsciously searched for comfort, drawing closer while troubled emotions surfaced, leaving Eustacia quietly observing. Eustacia realized Lucia was murmuring for parental affection, then gently embraced her, understanding the girl's loneliness beneath her usual cheerfulness. Eustacia noticed Aaron trembling during sleep and carefully checked on her. Unaware the elf was reliving painful memories and growing distressed, Aaron suddenly awoke in panic and rejected Eustacia's touch, reacting instinctively before recognizing her surroundings and regaining control slowly. Masatsugu found Eustacia outside afterward and calmly asked what happened. Noticing her troubled expression and sensing something serious occurred, Eustacia apologized sincerely, admitting she acted without understanding the girl's circumstances and realizing her assumptions had caused unnecessary problems. Aaron explained her reaction stemmed from past dangers, while Lucia remained emotional, leaving Eustacia aware the girls carried deep wounds. Eustacia accepted Masatsugu's criticism, then hurried everyone toward bed, dropping further arguments and focusing on resting before morning responsibilities. Masatsugu entered bed expecting peace, but discovered she, Lucia, Aaron, and Eustacia already gathered around him, causing immediate confusion. Eustacia claimed she remained there to protect Lucia and Aaron, while Masatsu questioned why she had ignored earlier instructions. She cheerfully defended her behavior, while Eustacia reconsidered her assumptions and recognized relationships could not be judged through simple rules. Overwhelmed by everyone's persistence, Masatsu abandoned resistance and suggested sleeping immediately, ending the chaotic discussion without further objections. Masatsu slept surrounded by the girls, while Lucia remained awake, quietly smiling as she enjoyed the warmth filling the bed. Masatsugu noticed Lucia still awake, and she admitted happiness kept her restless, making sleep difficult despite everyone's peaceful presence. Lucia confirmed her feelings, while Masatsugu awkwardly guessed the crowded arrangement caused them, failing to understand her emotions completely. She explained sleeping beside Masatsugu, and Eustacia felt like sharing space with loving parents, reviving comforting memories she missed. Masatsu clarified he could not replace her parents, yet promised lifelong support, leaving Lucia touched by his sincere commitment. Lucia admitted losing her parents and becoming a slave brought suffering, yet meeting Masatsu transformed that tragedy into meaningful fortune. Masatsu questioned whether present happiness balanced past hardships, while Lucia reflected carefully and concluded painful experiences remained impossible to erase. Lucia declared meeting him proved hope existed, believing their home embodied that hope and would endure despite future hardships. Masatsu quietly absorbed Lucia's words, finally understanding the depth of trust and gratitude she carried within her heart. Calling Lucia radiant like the sun, Masatsugu embarrassed her completely, prompting surrender before sleep and ending their conversation warmly. Masatsugu noticed Eustacia remained awake as well, while she quietly called his name and struggled with complicated feelings. Watching everyone together left Eustacia flustered, yet she insisted she could not trust matters completely, despite the comforting scene. Her emotional outburst ended abruptly, leaving Masatsu confused as he failed to understand what exactly troubled her thoughts. Masatsugu reflected honestly, believing he was unsuited for leadership and only cared for everyone because circumstances placed him there. Convinced he lacked special qualities, he dismissed any admiration directed toward him. While the peaceful night continued silently, morning arrived, and Masatsugu noticed Eustacia missing. Lucia explained Eustacia had received a summons and departed immediately before breakfast. Eustacia returned later while everyone discussed squid supplies. The children welcomed her warmly, though Masatsugu sensed something unusual immediately. Displaying an official document, Eustacia announced Masatsu was under arrest again for allegedly plotting against the royal family's authority. Masatsugu protested the accusation, arguing Eustacia's claim about overthrowing the monarchy was excessive, yet authorities immediately arranged a formal trial. The court session began, and the judge demanded accusations be presented properly, establishing order before examining the unusual case. Eustacia formally charged Masatsugu with plotting a coup, citing information supposedly connected to Prime Minister Mortissimo and witnesses. Listening carefully, Masatsugu realized the proceedings resembled primitive legal practices, relying heavily on testimony rather than objective evidence. The judge confirmed witness statements would determine guilt, leaving Masatsugu astonished. He was experiencing such outdated judicial methods firsthand. The judge requested the defense attorney appear, surprising Masatsu, who had not expected proper legal representation within the unusual proceedings. Eren and Lucia testified first, firmly stating Masatsu spent his time caring for everyone and showed no rebellious intentions. Shihi enthusiastically joined the defense, openly declaring her relationship with Masatsu, while insisting their peaceful household deserved protection. A maid named Sylvie appeared as the first witness, prompting Masatsu to recall her troublesome personality and manipulative tendencies. Ignoring Eustatia's frustration, Sylvie prepared testimony regarding Masatsu's daily behavior, while everyone anticipated what claims she would present. Sylvie praised Masatsugu's achievements, describing his victory over the Goblin King and emphasizing how modestly he concealed recognition. Her testimony escalated dramatically, portraying Masatsu as a heroic savior whose contributions supposedly benefited the entire kingdom and world. Ignoring courtroom decorum, Sylvie enthusiastically praised Masatsu's personality, embarrassing everyone while repeatedly expressing excessive admiration toward him publicly. Questioned about daily activities, Sylvie claimed Masatsu constantly attracted women, leaving him bewildered by her exaggerated description. Lucia immediately objected, accusing Sylvie of dishonesty, while Masatsugu wondered why his own defense seemed to worsen matters. Lucia objected to Sylvie's claims yet became flustered when pressed for details, struggling to explain her disagreement before everyone, nervous under attention. Lucia introduced herself awkwardly and attempted testimony, while the judge demanded clarity and proper statements. Overwhelmed by embarrassment, Lucia nearly confessed romantic feelings for Masatsu, but panic disrupted her words before completion entirely. Masatsugu interpreted Lucia's feelings as gratitude for cooking lessons, while Lucia desperately redirected attention towards serving soup regularly. Lucia remained speechless, realizing her true feelings had been completely misunderstood again. While Eustacia criticized Masatsu's oblivious response, Sylvie continued praising Masatsu excessively, provoking courtroom outrage before the judge removed her and summoned another witness immediately. The second witness introduced himself dramatically as Eren's devoted admirer, promising devotion while presenting himself with theatrical confidence. Eren rejected his advances instantly, exposing his stalker-like behavior, while Eustacia questioned why such people kept appearing unexpectedly. Ignoring warnings, the witness proudly discussed his fan club activities until Eustacia demanded testimony relevant to the trial instead. Asked about violence, the witness admitted Masatsugu defeated criminals responsibly, describing actions resembling legitimate self-defense rather than aggression. The witness ignored trial matters, encouraging Lucia's pursuit, while Eustacia struggled to keep testimony focused on relevant accusations instead. Praising Eren passionately, the witness explained his attendance stemmed entirely from admiration, leaving Masatsu questioning the courtroom's seriousness. The witness continued glorifying Eren's appearance and character, comparing her to a goddess while delivering increasingly exaggerated compliments publicly. She angrily objected when Eren received divine comparisons, insisting she alone deserved such recognition, while others reacted awkwardly. Masatsu questioned Eustacia's witness choices, and the witness departed casually, leaving little useful evidence behind for the proceedings. Eustacia clarified she sought truth rather than conviction, arguing manipulated testimony threatened fairness and could create dangerous false accusations. As Eustacia and Masatsu exchanged exasperated reactions, suddenly the third witness arrived angrily, blaming Masatsu for personal troubles. Introducing herself as the world's finest prostitute, the witness ignored decorum completely, prompting objections while the judge struggled maintaining order. Before testimony progressed further, a mysterious woman appeared and demanded Masatsu's execution, abruptly transforming the trial's direction entirely. During Masatsu's trial, Mortissimo appeared as a witness and demanded swift conviction, surprising everyone with her impatience and confidence. The judge explained proper procedure required evidence before judgment, while Mortissimo remained detached, barely paying attention to anyone present. Questioning revealed Masatsu was not suspected of organizing any coup, exposing contradictions behind Mortissimo's accusations and weakening her claims. Mortissimo dismissed concerns about evidence entirely, prompting Eustacia's outrage as the witness openly supported accusing Masatsu without proof. Watching events unfold, Lucia, Eren, and she celebrated the lawyer's success, while Masatsu doubted divine intervention influenced the proceedings. Mortissimo ignored the trial's direction entirely and casually asked when Masatsugu would be executed, shocking everyone attending the hearing. The lawyers argued punishment without guilt violated the law, while Mortissimo questioned why legal details seemed so important. Suddenly, Masatsugu rejected Mortissimo's attitude and suggested she apologize for forcing an innocent person through an unnecessary public trial. Aaron confronted Mortissimo directly, condemning her rude behavior, while Lucia and Shie supported the criticism despite their confusion. Observing Mortissimo carefully, Masatsugu realized she viewed others differently, explaining her detached behavior and lack of ordinary social awareness. Masatsugu concluded Mortissimo viewed people like insignificant insects, explaining her indifference toward emotions, grudges, and ordinary human relationships. Mortissimo reacted with interest upon hearing his observation, appearing surprised that someone had accurately described her perspective so directly. When questioned further, Mortissimo implied Masatsu had uncovered her true nature, while Eustacia struggled to follow their exchange. Ignoring deeper explanations, she abruptly asked Masatsu's name, shifting the conversation away from the courtroom's earlier arguments entirely. Masatsugu firmly introduced himself and demanded remembrance, prompting Mortissimo to acknowledge him and withdraw her hostility for now. Mortissimo revealed herself as the god of death, surprising the courtroom, then reacted with unusual excitement upon finally learning Masatsugu's name. Intrigued by Masatsugu's character, Mortissimo admitted she disliked humanity generally, yet considered him different from everyone she encountered. Masatsugu remained confused while Mortissimo's attitude shifted abruptly, suggesting disappointment as she prepared to abandon ordinary courtroom proceedings. Summoning her scythe, Mortissimo announced the king had ordered Masatsugu's death, transforming the trial into a direct execution attempt. Masatsugu identified the king behind the order, but Mortissimo showed no recognition, revealing she knew nothing about Walzam. Mortissimo abandoned the courtroom approach and launched her attack, declaring time had expired while striking directly at Masatsu herself. Her deathly wind swept across the room, knocking everyone down, while Mortissimo calmly promised to cherish Masatsu's soul forever. Lucia, Aaron, and she collapsed from exhaustion after resisting the attack, leaving Masatsu alarmed and focused on protecting them. Ignoring the chaos surrounding him, Masatsugu rushed toward Mortissimo, refusing to retreat, despite facing the god of death. Mortissimo realized Masatsu had dispelled her death wind, prompting discussion about origin skills and revealing his unusual hidden power. Mortissimo identified Masatsu's origin skill as protection, concluding his power existed because he genuinely prioritized the orphaned children. Masatsu denied any noble motivation, insisting he merely fulfilled his responsibilities, while Mortissimo considered his explanation with interest. Testing her theory, she attacked again, but Masatsugu blocked it easily, confirming weaker techniques could not overcome his ability. Mortissimo explained origin skills were innate powers, then announced her intention to erase the very source behind Masatsugu's strength. She revealed destroying that source would aid her king's resurrection, exposing the true reason she targeted the orphanage. Mortissimo ended the confrontation abruptly, offering only a cryptic farewell before disappearing through a dark portal, leaving unanswered questions behind. Masatsugu watched silently as the threat vanished. Though disaster was avoided, uncertainty remained, and the mystery surrounding Mortissimo deepened. Masatsugu followed Lucia's request and continued healing her injuries. Lucia watched quietly, trusting his efforts while testing her recovery. Lucia relaxed under the treatment as warmth spread through her body. Her expression softened and she felt pain fading from earlier wounds. She suddenly sat up and denied being dead, startling Masatsu. He explained that her condition had improved enough to move, though recovery remained. Lucia happily enjoyed the attention, while Masatsugu noticed her energy returning. She and Aaron observed the scene. Aaron calmly requested equal treatment, arguing that caretaking should be fair. She eagerly supported the idea. Masatsu scolded Lucia and she, pointing out their healthy behavior. Both complained about losing attention, proving his assessment completely correct. Aaron defended the meal's quality, while Lucia praised the ingredients. Masatsugu accepted their compliments, pleased his cooking succeeded. Masatsu questioned whether divine figures should eat meat. Shii loudly declared her status, while others struggled following the unusual discussion. Aaron explained, mountain customs valued meat as a blessing. Shii introduced a water spirit, clarifying different beliefs between various groups and their traditions. She recalled repeated rejection from fellow spirits and felt wronged. Masatsugu dismissed her complaint, leaving Lucia amused by the exchange. Masatsugu arrived as Lucia mentioned more production. They discussed making something new, while Lucia admitted enjoying the previous treatment session. Eustacia interrupted the gathering and demanded attention. She complained the meat had vanished quickly, then urged everyone to listen. Masatsugu revealed he had found someone willing to adopt the children. Eustacia immediately rejected the topic, showing little interest in development. The group stared at Eustacia in confusion, while Shiri looked excited beside Masatsugu. Lucia held supplies silently, and Aaron watched the exchange unfold. Suddenly a disturbance outside drew attention toward a building. Masatsugu sensed trouble immediately as an ominous sign appeared. Masatsugu carried Eustacia away from the commotion, and questioned the situation. Eustacia explained the children had suddenly become unusually troublesome again. The girls hid behind a door, and rejected adoption completely. Masatsugu tried calming them, but they refused meeting foster parents. Lucia tearfully declared she would never leave. Aaron became equally emotional, insisting nobody would listen to such a proposal. Shia dramatically argued Masatsu needed their support and care. Masatsugu denied, remembering such dependence while strange slime gathered on floor. The slime suddenly launched an attack from behind. Masatsugu noticed the danger too late and reacted with startled alarm. Lucia, Aaron, and Shi coordinated their efforts to follow Masatsugu everywhere. Their teamwork succeeded so well that he became completely soaked. Masatsu argued adoption would provide better futures for them. The girls immediately rejected his reasoning and firmly opposed leaving him. Eustacia explained the candidate was trustworthy and respected. Masatsugu apologized, realizing he had underestimated how attached the children became. Masatsugu reflected on his mistake and recognized the deeper issue. Simply locating adoptive parents could not solve everything involved. Eustacia questioned his true feelings toward the children. Despite denying concern repeatedly, Masatsugu's reaction revealed he cared far more deeply. The girls listened from behind the door and remained unconvinced. Each believed Masatsugu should continue raising them despite his arguments. Masatsugu imagined them living happily with caring parents. He believed they deserved affection, stability, and opportunities beyond the orphanage walls. He admitted becoming director only because circumstances demanded it. Masatsu considered himself unsuitable and would willingly pass responsibility to another. The girls answered that trusting the adoptive family solved everything. Their response showed they accepted his reasoning. Eustacia questioned whether he truly meant those words. Masatsugu insisted he wanted the children independent, rather than remaining under his care. Eustacia questioned how Masatsugu planned to persuade the girls. Masatsugu ignored further discussion and prepared to demonstrate his answer directly. Without hesitation, Masatsugu rushed toward the room at full speed. Eustacia watched in surprise, unable to understand his sudden approach. She noticed Masatsugu charging forward and quickly warned everyone. The girls panicked immediately and prepared a defensive counterattack together. Numerous water projectiles flew through the corridor toward him. Masatsugu dodged several attacks while continuing his advance without slowing down. One projectile struck Masatsugu directly across the face. His charge collapsed instantly as the unexpected hit completely disrupted his plan. Lucia rushed from hiding when Masatsugu collapsed. Worried voices filled the hallway as everyone checked whether he suffered injuries. Masatsugu endured the pain and reconsidered his approach. Determined to succeed, he focused only on reaching them. Lucia approached cautiously and asked about his condition. Her concern replaced earlier defiance once danger seemed real to her at last. Sheshi joked about another attack, but Aaron reminded everyone of their promise. The tense mood softened and uncertainty faded slightly. Masatsugu stopped chasing the girls and gathered attention. He prepared to explain his decision without force, using calm words instead. He announced orphanage activities were suspended and adoption would proceed. Everyone listened silently as the decision became unavoidable. Masatsugu questioned Lucia's attachment to the orphanage, yet she firmly declared she wanted to remain there. He compared staying to caring for a pet forever, while Aaron insisted the orphanage remained her cherished home where she truly belonged. Facing the gathered girls, Masatsugu announced he would close the orphanage, dismissing objections, leaving Lucia shocked and speechless. Masatsugu began refusing their pleas, but a small hand gripped his clothing, interrupting his resolve before departure and making him pause for reflection. Tearful Lucia begged Masatsugu not to abandon her. Misunderstanding his intention, he reacted, questioned the meaning of abandonment. Masatsugu recalled his painful childhood and the way his abandon treated him, revealing the personal experience influencing his difficult decision. Shai and Aaron watched silently while Lucia continued crying, struggling to accept his announcement and fearing separation from their family. The girls called Masatsugu by different names through tears, and he finally relented, calming them with a gentle response. Hearing his answer, Lucia brightened immediately while she and Aaron stared in surprise. Seeking confirmation that they understood correctly, Masatsugu clarified he would not reverse the decision completely, explaining he only intended to revise the orphanage arrangement instead. Masatsu, allowing Lucia, Aaron, and Shii to return if their new home still felt uncomfortable after one full week. He explained the adoption process, apologized to Eustacia, and promised keeping the orphanage operating so the girls retained a fair chance to return. Lucia quickly accepted the proposal, declaring she would come back within a week while wiping tears. She enthusiastically encouraged Lucia, while Aaron calmly noted that enduring 1 week apart was minor compared with challenges faced. With spirits restored, Lucia, Aaron, and Shia departed together, smiling as they began the next step of their new lives. Masatsugu watched the girls depart and returned inside. Relieved the adoption proceeded smoothly, though the sudden silence felt noticeably unfamiliar. Standing alone, he reflected on the 1-week agreement, quietly considering whether the girls would truly adapt elsewhere successfully. He began cleaning the orphanage grounds, noticing fallen leaves everywhere, while reminding himself that maintaining the building remained his responsibility. While cooking, Masatsugu realized Lucia usually handled many chores, and the kitchen quickly became troublesome without her regular assistance. As more tasks accumulated, he admitted she and Aaron contributed greatly too, making their absence far more noticeable than expected. Masatsugu enjoyed quieter meals and lower expenses without the girls, believing he finally regained peace, though uncertainty still lingered within. While eating alone, memories of Lucia, Aaron, and Shi happily sharing meals surfaced, making the empty dining table stand out. Masatsu considered practical advantages of solitude, yet the atmosphere felt strangely dull, leaving little satisfaction in his daily routine. 1 week passed, and Eustacia reported that every girl chose remaining with their foster parents, respecting the transition period. Accepting the outcome calmly, Masatsugu acknowledged the message, thanked Eustacia for informing him, and watched her departure in silence. Alone outside, Masatsugu admitted the orphanage offered little comfort, recognizing its flaws while convincing himself the girls deserved better circumstances. He reflected that someone like himself was unsuitable as director, believing his limitations prevented him from providing an ideal upbringing. Masatsu concluded children should receive proper affection and attention from dependable guardians, accepting that their departure was the expected result. He returned indoors and closed the door while dark clouds gathered overhead, casting a heavy atmosphere across the quiet orphanage. Masatsu trained alone near a cave, attacking a slime repeatedly while testing his strength and searching for an effective strike. His latest attack failed again. Yet the creature suddenly reacted differently, surprising Masatsu and interrupting the rhythm of battle. Hidden observers watched closely, arguing possessively over Masatsugu's knife, while treating the weapon as something extremely valuable and important. Without warning, a blade shot across the battlefield at tremendous speed, passing directly beside Masatsugu before he could react. Masatsugu noticed the unexpected interference as the projectile struck nearby, creating a violent impact and completely changing the situation. Sylvie and Arnon emerged from hiding and approached confidently, while Masatsugu stopped their interference during his ongoing monster hunt. Arnon praised Masatsugu affectionately for helping her, while he insisted she should have rested instead of following him. Masatsu questioned her reasoning, but the pair interpreted his response positively, turning the discussion into another playful misunderstanding. Reflecting on his condition, Masatsu admitted struggling against a minor creature, then asked whether the women completed their scouting task. Sylvie reported finding no monsters during their search, explaining they returned early simply because they preferred accompanying Masatsugu. Masatsugu learned the women were Arnon Kimberg and Sylvie Riskus, daughters of influential families connected to powerful organizations and society. Hearing their backgrounds, Masatsugu regarded them as troublesome figures, preferring a quiet existence without involvement in complicated affairs whatsoever. While continuing his work, he questioned why they constantly accompanied him, explaining he was merely trying to earn a living. Sylvie responded playfully, claiming love motivated her unusual behavior, while Arnon eagerly agreed and supported the same sentiment toward him. Arnon boldly credited Masatsugu for saving her life and declared marriage essential, expressing intense devotion that left little room. Arnon and Sylvie insisted they owed Masatsugu greatly, praising his achievements and crediting him for defeating the Goblin King successfully. Their gratitude quickly became excessive, prompting Masatsugu to reject their dramatic behavior, while struggling to maintain control of conversation. Overwhelmed by the situation, Masatsugu wished everything was merely a nightmare, unable to understand their relentless affection toward him. Arnon explained succession traditions required a son, revealing the potion request concerned her family, despite her being female. Before Masatsu could respond properly, Arnon clung tightly to Sylvie, boldly declaring only Masatsu could accomplish such a task. Arnon recalled meeting Masatsu and openly confessed her feelings again, insisting her devotion remained unchanged despite his continued resistance. Masatsu responded harshly, criticizing her behavior and questioning her judgment, yet Arnon appeared pleased rather than discouraged by it. Ignoring their persistence, Masatsugu decided to continue alone, while Sylvie and Arnon eagerly followed and encouraged the discussion further. Masatsu demonstrated precise control with his weapon, showing that his skills remained reliable despite recent struggles against monsters. He explained his weakened condition left openings during combat, then questioned the women about enemies they previously claimed absent. Arnon defended their statement about missing monsters. Suddenly, a disguised man appeared before them, exposing the flaw in their report. Masatsugu accused them of ignoring threats carelessly, then prepared for battle as Sylvie and Arnon watched his reaction with interest. Arnon sensed movement within the cavern and warned Masatsu. Hidden figures emerged unexpectedly, confirming her suspicion. Several robed men stepped forward after being drawn out. Masatsu, Sylvie, and Arnon faced them without retreating. A leader declared they would sacrifice Masatsugu to the Mudlord. Sylvie considered the name carefully while recalling forgotten information. Details revealed a spell called Muddy Water capable of driving contaminated minds insane. Masatsugu listened closely as the connection became increasingly clear there. Arnon recognized the situation immediately and questioned the obvious answer. A sudden impact interrupted movement as someone struck the ground. Masatsu gripped his sword and resolved to handle the hostile men himself, remaining calm despite their contempt. The cultists mocked his small group and rushed forward, laughing loudly while Masatsugu, Sylvie, and Arnon stood firm inside the cavern passage. Masatsugu moved first, drawing his blade in one smooth motion, while Sylvie and Arnon leaped aside, creating space for his attack. With a powerful sweeping strike, Masatsugu cut through the charging formation, sending several attackers reeling backward as panic spread. Bodies crashed against the cave walls, leaving Masatsugu standing unharmed, while the shaken enemies realized their overwhelming advantage never truly existed. More cultists advanced through the cavern, yet Masatsugu remained composed. He noted his strength control improving while Sylvie confidently praised him. One cultist crudely proposed that Sylvie join them. She dismissed the suggestion immediately, insulting his foolish reasoning without hesitation. She continued mocking their arrogance and warned them against comparing themselves to Masatsu. Her confidence steadily undermined their remaining pride. With a pleasant smile, Sylvie invited the men closer and presented herself as irresistible bait. The cultists eagerly considered her offer. Believing Sylvie had yielded, the cultists grinned and approached carelessly. She welcomed them calmly before launching her attack. Approaching cultists suddenly lost control of their legs. Confusion spread quickly as several men stumbled, collapsed. Panic replaced confidence when more bodies dropped helplessly. Sylvie stood before them calmly, while their leader demanded answers desperately. Sylvie revealed her ability, explaining that precise contact could disrupt magical flow within people, leaving opponents completely vulnerable. Outright then she declared, signaling the battle was over for the immobilized cultists, before casually dismissing concerns about using a knife at all. With a cold smile, Sylvie promised the defeated men would awaken as fertilizer for the cave, ensuring their threat ended permanently from existence. Sylvie acted innocent while discussing the defeated enemies. Masatsugu watched quietly as her teasing remarks drew frightened reactions. Masatsugu questioned her harmless appearance. Sylvie answered vaguely, claiming girls kept secrets while avoiding a direct explanation about her abilities. Speaking cryptically, Sylvie described surviving through obscurity and concealment. She explained that remaining unidentified suited her role within the guild. Realizing she had revealed more than intended, Sylvie stopped herself. Her expression softened while she attempted to brush aside the topic. Masatsugu sighed at Sylvie's troublesome behavior, yet clarified one misunderstanding. Her combat strength involved far more than a knife. Masatsugu reflected that Sylvie never truly lied. Instead, she concealed facts carefully, allowing opponents to misunderstand her and lowering their guard. Summarizing his thoughts, Masatsugu concluded Sylvie was simply difficult. Arnon called for him, prompting departure while Sylvie watched quietly behind. Left with her thoughts, Sylvie showed a gentler expression. Beneath countless deceptions, fragments of her genuine self slowly surfaced. Arnon struggled to use her bow while enemies closed in from behind. Forced into close combat, she hurriedly dodged attacks instead. Even under pressure, she joked with Masatsugu and exaggerated his rescue. The playful exchange contrasted sharply against the ongoing battle. An attacker rushed forward, seeking an opening. Masatsugu intercepted immediately, striking decisively and stopping the assault before it could continue. Arnon praised Masatsugu enthusiastically while catching her breath. Rather than accepting compliments, He focused on whether the corruption remained active. Relieved by his concern, Arnon confirmed the effect persisted. Masatsugu sighed quietly while she celebrated his support with delight. A surviving cultist hurled threats at the group and boasted about future violence. His confidence remained despite witnessing his companion's defeat. Arnon's ability was finally explained. Her skill corroded surrounding air, becoming especially dangerous within enclosed spaces and earning a feared reputation. The Adventurers Guild had given Arnon a notorious title. Smiling calmly, she stood among weakened enemies as fear spread. With the confrontation seemingly finished, Masatsugu, Sylvie, and Arnon checked the area. No additional opponents appeared within the cavern. Their attention shifted when several defeated cultists suddenly trembled. Unexpected movement suggested something unusual was beginning among them. The defeated cultists began moving again despite their condition. Masatsugu's group realized external magic was forcing their bodies into action. Arnon stepped forward to assist Sylvie, while the enemies regrouped. Their unexpected recovery threatened to prolong the battle considerably. Preparing a decisive response, Sylvie and Arnon readied powerful techniques together. Their combined attack promised widespread destruction across the cavern. Masatsugu calmly walked ahead before they could act. Arnon quickly noticed the danger and tried stopping their reckless plan, growing tired of the situation. Masatsugu gripped his sword firmly. He prepared to settle the matter personally once again. Masatsugu finally acted, releasing a massive sword swing. The attack surged through the cavern and swept directly into the advancing enemies. The overwhelming strike smashed cultists across the cave and shattered surrounding rock. Bodies crashed down while debris scattered everywhere. As dust settled, every opponent lay defeated. Arnon complained that Masatsugu could have ended the confrontation much sooner. Sylvie explained Masatsugu could deliberately restrained his strength. Even weakened, his attack nearly collapsed the cavern and destroyed his weapon. Masatsugu approached the cult leader and woke him. Regaining awareness, the man realized he had been rescued unexpectedly. Questioning the cult leader, Masatsugu learned about a feared goddess. Rumors described her as cruel corruption itself and darkness incarnate. Hearing she was called a goddess, Masatsugu grew cautious. The connection to divine beings suggested a far more serious threat. While discussing the mysterious figure, the group prepared to leave. The cult leader awkwardly admitted some rumors about her were exaggerated. He recalled the goddess obsessively chasing a dropped coin and collecting valuables. The strange story confused Masatsugu considerably instead. Sudden rumbling interrupted the conversation. A familiar voice answered the cult leader's call, leaving everyone startled and alarmed. The rumbling source finally appeared before the group, claiming to be both a vicious goddess and fallen angel. The newcomer emerged dramatically. Instead of a terrifying monster, the goddess She introduced herself confidently. Her unexpected appearance left Masatsugu, Sylvie, and Arnon stunned. She suddenly appeared before Masatsugu, proudly announcing herself. She gathered crackling power around her fist, preparing a dramatic attack. She released her strike with full strength. The impact smashed through stone violently, scattering debris everywhere, while Masatsugu watched her reckless display. Dust settled across the damaged area. Masatsugu questioned why She had arrived, while Sylvie and Arnon observed the destruction and listened. Masatsugu angrily reminded She belonged with her foster family. She complained about pain, ignored his scolding. She teased Masatsugu with gossip involving Lucia and Aaron. She offered an embarrassing story, while Masatsugu quickly rejected. Masatsugu questioned She about events following her adoption. He suspected manipulation influenced her actions, though she laughed and dismissed concern. She explained, nobody stole the bandits' reasoning completely. She claimed another divine aspect, merely encouraged obedience, shaping their behavior instead. She described how gods possess multiple aspects governing different concepts. Masatsugu listened quietly, gradually understanding her explanation about divine influences. Masatsugu challenged her logic, suggesting such authority resembled corruption and death. Shihi remained unfazed, expecting greater shock from everyone. Shihi suddenly declared intense devotion toward Masatsugu, promising eternal companionship. She cheerfully accepted any role beside him, leaving emotions exposed. She declared Masatsugu would never face loneliness again. Confused by her words, he questioned her meaning while she spoke confidently. She pointed toward the girls connected to Masatsugu. She argued their separation revealed how lonely he seemed without them. Shiai claimed Masatsugu expected freedom once she found a foster home. She insisted everyone still wished remaining beside him. Masatsugu hesitated before answering. Watching Sylvie and Arnon nearby, he admitted he could not completely deny Shiai's observation anymore. Masatsugu reflected on his feelings carefully. He realized years of self-restraint dulled his emotions, leaving many thoughts unrecognized. Masatsugu reflected on Shi's words and questioned his feelings. Shi bluntly called him foolish, pushing him towards self-awareness gently. Shi urged Masatsugu to follow his true desires. She criticized his habit of ignoring important emotions despite understanding others. Masatsugu admitted regretting a past decision involving his first love. He blamed himself for yielding under pressure and expectations. Shiri abandoned restraint and openly declared her intentions. She promised eternal companionship, rejected sharing him, and claimed him completely. Hearing her confession, Masatsugu fell silent. Her straightforward devotion left him speechless, forcing him to confront hidden emotions. Masatsugu borrowed Sylvie's mithril sword and drew it calmly, watching Shiri's behavior. He concluded her personality remained completely unchanged despite everything. Without warning, Masatsu struck Shi lightly. She yelped in surprise, while he dismissed her dramatic declarations as tiresome nonsense. Shi clutched the sore spot and complained loudly. Masatsugu joked she was not his preferred type, leaving her startled. Masatsu proposed a duel to test her proclaimed divinity. He promised any reward she desired if victory became hers. Hearing that promise, Shi immediately accepted. Excited fantasies filled her mind, and she eagerly imagined countless possibilities beside him. Both prepared for their unusual contest. She vowed eternal closeness, while Masatsugu faced her challenge with cautious determination ahead. Masatsugu prepared for the duel, while Shi proudly introduced herself as a powerful goddess. She declared unmatched maternal devotion toward him. Floating confidently above the battlefield, Shi reminded everyone of her divine status. She emphasized her authority and immense strength. She activated a flood attack and boasted about overwhelming power. Masatsugu watched calmly, showing little concern toward her display. Masatsugu immediately countered with a swift sword strike. The attack sliced through the incoming force, surprising observers watching nearby. Seeing her attack stopped effortlessly, Shi laughed instead of panicking. Masatsu suspected victory might come easier than expected. Masatsu analyzed the battlefield and recognized Shi's intentions. Melting walls revealed danger, confirming this duel required serious effort already. Determining Shi would not restrain herself, Masatsugu moved instantly. He leaped across the area, preparing another attack with caution. Shi summoned eerie divine magic, connected to restless spirits. Countless ghostly hands emerged, transforming the battlefield into chaos quickly. The supernatural assault rushed toward Masatsugu from every direction. He dodged desperately while criticizing Shi's excessive display of power. Realizing direct contact meant certain danger, Masatsu retreated briefly. He unleashed a powerful slash, cutting through approaching threats. Shi assured everyone the attack would not cause true death. Sylvie and Arnon struggled desperately while avoiding countless reaching hands. Sylvie watched the overwhelming spectacle with concern. The scale of Shi's divine abilities felt closer to ancient myths than reality. Sylvie and Arnon caught their breath amid sizzling destruction. Realizing the danger exceeded them, they decided immediate retreat remained necessary. Checking on everyone, Sylvie explained she used a treasured amulet. Arnon revealed activating her special skill helped their survival. Sylvie assessed the situation and warned of serious trouble. She believed Shi could maintain the undead horde while recovering. Masatsugu recalled Shi repeatedly injuring herself through magical experiments. Despite constant failures, she always recovered quickly and continued trying. Observing her condition carefully, Masatsugu noticed Shi still had not recovered completely. Her connection to death, magic prevented easy healing. Recognizing her weakness, Masatsugu formed a strategy immediately. He assigned others against the undead hands while confronting Shi himself. Shi applauded Masatsugu's decision from across the battlefield. She acknowledged his judgment, showing amusement rather than concern or fear. She accused Masatsu of acting clever during their duel. She preferred facing him alone, while he remained visibly irritated. Masatsugu understood Shi acted according to her feelings. Accepting that truth, he admitted lacking something important while challenging her confidence. Shi responded by unleashing tremendous ice magic. Massive frozen structures erupted across the battlefield, transforming the surroundings completely within moments. Breathing heavily, she proudly revealed the technique's origin. She claimed the spell once covered the world with ice. She attempted sealing Masatsu within eternal frost. While explaining her plan, she also expressed desire to remain together forever. Without hesitation, she launched herself toward Masatsugu. She abandoned distant attacks entirely and demanded he accept her overwhelming affection. Shedi charged forward confidently, expecting success. Suddenly, impacts echoed across the battlefield, leaving her shocked as something disrupted plans. A powerful protective effect activated around Masatsu. The ancient amulet's barrier expanded outward, blocking danger and stabilizing conditions instantly. Recognizing the amulet, she panicked immediately. Masatsu reminded her Sylvie mentioned a trump card, exposing her careless oversight. Arnon proudly explained her special skill eliminated the death hands. Hearing this, she realized her strategy contained a major flaw. Sylvie and Arnon revealed coordinated preparations behind the scenes. Their combined efforts strengthened Masatsugu's position and undermined Shi's advantage. Sylvie explained the trump card targeted 2 people deliberately. Hearing that, Masatsugu immediately planned preventing Shi from casting another spell. Shi admitted her mana was nearly exhausted. Despite obvious fatigue, she insisted remaining a goddess, and promised recovery eventually. Questioned about withdrawing the death hands, she confirmed exhaustion prevented quick recovery. Her weakened state left few options available. Masatsu stepped forward before Shi could act further. He declared firmly that he would not grant her time. Closing the distance instantly, Masatsu struck her with force. The unexpected blow ended the duel and shocked everyone. She hung restrained against a rocky wall, groaning from pain and embarrassment, while struggling helplessly, blaming Masatsu for striking her. Masatsugu watched quietly as Shiki complained about her condition, while Sylvie and Arnon remarked she exaggerated matters, despite their efforts. Masatsugu admitted she suffered considerable pain, realizing his strength exceeded expectations, and accepted responsibility for hurting her without intending serious harm. Approaching, Masatsu gently patted Shi's head and offered an apology, causing her surprise to replace discomfort and frustration. She stared at Masatsu with flushed cheeks and softened eyes, quietly calling his name while the tension between them disappeared. Masatsugu explained he never believed Shi had fallen completely into darkness, insisting he wanted honesty from her rather than deception. Shi reacted with confusion while Masatsu revealed he understood her attempt to provoke anger, prompting Sylvie to release her restraints. Freed from the ropes, she answered questions about captured children, explaining the group gathered orphans and presented them as sacrifices. Another clue emerged when Eustatia's situation was discussed, revealing manipulators deceived inspectors with false stories about supposedly safe homes. Masatsu concluded other children remained endangered and needed immediate rescue, while Shiri identified the mastermind behind the sacrifices as evil. Masatsugu asked whether the evil god was widely known, while Sylvie and Arnon reacted with shock upon hearing Shi's revelation. Arnon explained legends describing a sealed evil god, sacrificed souls, and an ancient war, while Sylvie questioned impossible requirements. Shiri revealed heroes were summoned because signs foretold the evil god's return, leading Masatsu to connect both events together. Masatsu questioned the explanation logically, noting the evil god's return seemed linked to heroes already being summoned. Instead, comparing events carefully, Masatsu suggested the summoning itself triggered disaster, arguing mistaken assumptions transformed coincidence into accepted truth. Masatsu questioned how Walsum learned hero summoning, while she admitted uncertainty, then proudly agreed his suspicion sounded completely reasonable. Arnon interrupted the discussion, reminding everyone that Lucia and Aaron required rescue, pushing the group toward urgent action. Masatsugu asked why she faced sacrifice too, prompting her emotional complaint about insults, abandonment fears, and unfair treatment. Shii clarified she genuinely believed Masatsugu had abandoned them before, though she eventually realized others manipulated her misunderstanding. While preparing to continue, Shani suddenly appeared unclothed, startling Masatsugu before Sylvie announced everyone already understood the situation. Shei revealed the mastermind's identity, explaining Prime Minister Walsam orchestrated events behind the scenes, and exposed his involvement upon capture. She identified another dangerous figure, describing Mortissimo as Death Goddess, who supported the evil god and caused countless deaths throughout history. Masatsugu reacted seriously upon hearing the name Morte, recognizing the feared god of death and treating the revelation carefully. The scene shifted elsewhere, where Mort observed a gathering from above and casually remarked that it was time for rest. Approaching the assembled group, Morte found everyone gathered together while discussions continued regarding a legendary hero's remarkable origins. Hiro Miyamoto presented the holy sword Flamblin, claiming legendary warriors once used it to defeat the feared demon lord. He explained the sword waited centuries within a treasure vault, remaining impossible for ordinary people to remove or wield. Boasting confidently, Miyamoto declared he easily drew the sword from its pedestal, earning admiration and recognition from surrounding observers. Miyamoto further claimed the sword selected him alone, citing its immense weight and praising his recent victory over goblins. His speech ended abruptly when alarms reported intruders inside the castle, prompting Miyamoto to call everyone into battle. Leading the group forward, Miyamoto enthusiastically marched toward confrontation. Unaware Masatsu remained connected to events unfolding elsewhere, silently. Masatsu smashed through the castle wall, leading Sylvie, Arnon, Shi, and their allies directly into enemy territory. Sylvie and Arnon praised Masatsugu's unexpected entrance, Shi assuming he had planned everything. While rubble continued falling, Arnon reassured Masatsugu that everyone would support him, arguing the direct advance remained their best option given limited time and urgent rescue goals. As companions argued playfully, Masatsugu ordered them to stop chatting and keep moving, reminding everyone that lives were at stake and required action. Suddenly Miyamoto charged straight toward Masatsugu, attempting a surprise attack, but an ally shouted a warning as the reckless strike. Masatsugu recognized Miyamoto immediately, calmly calling him a familiar face, while the furious hero confronted him with visible hostility. Miyamoto demanded answers for Masatsugu's presence, then publicly mocked him as a failure while surrounding classmates silently supported the accusation. Remembering past experiences, Masatsugu reflected on constant bullying from classmates, recognizing the same behavior continuing despite entering another world. Masatsugu compared Miyamoto to a herder controlling followers, while Miyamoto defended his popularity and sought approval from companions nearby. She noticed something unusual about the soldiers accompanying Miyamoto, and Masatsugu admitted he had already sensed the same concern. Masatsugu examined the soldiers carefully and concluded they were already dead, while others listened closely to his alarming observation. Linking the situation to Mortissimo, Masatsugu reasoned, the death god controlled the soldiers, though Miyamoto remained unaffected by manipulation. Shai suggested Miyamoto resisted control because of the holy sword, but Masatsugu believed unusual resistance to magic explained it. Miyamoto proudly displayed the legendary sword, boasting about its power and chosen wielder status, while praising his own importance. Ignoring doubts from Shibi, Miyamoto continued declaring himself humanity's destined savior, while Masatsugu quietly questioned his endless self-promotion. Miyamoto dismissed objections confidently, claiming his charm naturally attracted women, while the others reacted with confusion and growing disbelief. Mistaking Shi's presence for admiration, Miyamoto shamelessly flirted with her, though she appeared uncomfortable and Masatsugu remained unimpressed. Shai immediately rejected Miyamoto's assumptions, declaring devotion to Masatsugu, instead, leaving Miyamoto shocked, while Masatsugu denied involvement completely. Arnon and Sylvie joined the discussion, each boldly claiming future ties with Masatsugu, turning the argument into unexpected competition. Hearing every declaration, Miyamoto grew visibly disturbed and frustrated, concluding all three girls sounded unreasonable while struggling to respond. Miyamoto loudly proclaimed exclusive ownership of the holy sword, demanding attention while everyone grew increasingly irritated by his arrogance. Unable to tolerate more boasting, he charged recklessly toward Masatsugu again, but Masatsugu remained calm and unimpressed throughout the attack. Masatsugu effortlessly avoided the charge, seized the holy sword directly from Miyamoto's grasp, and stopped his momentum completely. Examining the weapon casually, Masatsugu pulled it free without difficulty, leaving Miyamoto stunned as the legendary sword changed hands. While testing the blade, Masatsugu noticed its unusual properties, and she realized the weapon could even threaten divine beings. Miyamoto stood frozen in disbelief, completely stunned after watching Masatsugu handle the legendary holy sword without difficulty whatsoever. Masatsugu examined the weapon closely and acknowledged its remarkable power, while she expressed concern about its dangerous capabilities. Unable to accept reality, Miyamoto demanded an explanation, while Masatsugu calmly wielded the sword, proving his superiority beyond doubt. Miyamoto angrily demanded answers, shouting in disbelief after witnessing something impossible, convinced another person had unfairly stolen his achievement. Grabbing Masatsugu, Miyamoto accused him of cheating somehow, while Masatsugu remained confused and questioned what exactly prompted such outrage. Miyamoto complained the sacred sword should belong exclusively to him, wondering why Masatsugu could wield it effortlessly, despite expectations. She stepped forward and explained the sword possessed special conditions, declaring unauthorized people could never truly claim its power. Clarifying the truth, she revealed Miyamoto was never chosen as the sword's wielder, serving merely to deliver it instead. Miyamoto desperately rejected the explanation, insisting he earned the holy sword's recognition, while others reduced his role to transportation. She suggested Miyamoto's seemingly useless skill existed because he was actually the sword's intended wielder, leaving him completely stunned. Explaining further, Shii stated the sword manipulated destiny, forcing another carrier to pursue Masatsugu after he departed from the castle. Shii questioned the conclusion directly, confidently affirmed Masatsugu was the true wielder and source behind everything. Unable to accept the claim, Miyamoto furiously protested and demanded reasons. Refusing to believe the holy sword favored Masatsugu, Masatsugu questioned Miyamoto's motives, exposing selfish ambitions behind his heroic claims, and doubting whether he could protect anyone nearby. Reflecting quietly, Masatsugu admitted his failures and offered the holy sword back, believing himself unworthy of wielding it. The sword rejected Miyamoto completely, crashing heavily onto him and proving he could not use its power anymore. While Miyamoto panicked and begged for assistance, Masatsu's companions approached calmly, expecting him to resolve matters quickly. Masatsu lifted the holy sword with ease once more, sensing unusual familiarity and noticing it felt lighter than before. Masatsugu tested the holy sword cautiously, while she explained it possessed independent will, leaving Sylvie impressed by its behavior. Swinging the weapon once, Masatsugu unleashed overwhelming force that surged across the area, producing a massive destructive shockwave instantly. The attack shattered the ground dramatically, creating a huge crater beneath everyone, while Miyamoto stared blankly at the devastation. Shai accused Masatsu of pretending the result was accidental, pointing out he had completely split the battlefield apart. Surveying the damage, Masatsugu noticed enemies remained active, while companions struggled upright and admired the holy sword's extraordinary power. Sylvie and Arnon suddenly leapt forward with weapons ready, positioning themselves before Masatsu as they noticed unexpected movement nearby. Arnon loudly declared exclusive rights to receive punishment from Masatsu, while Sylvie focused on protecting guild leader Nao immediately. The pair launched a coordinated attack, ordering intruders to leave at once while striking swiftly across the damaged area, watching the chaos. Miyamoto complained about unfair treatment again, but Masatsu calmly questioned what problem actually existed anymore. Preparing to depart, Masatsugu offered the sword back, yet Miyamoto desperately chased after him, demanding possession of the weapon. The group moved toward the gate together, while she proudly claimed credit for helping Masatsu and demanded recognition for her effort. Masatsugu noticed the holy sword suddenly broke apart and vanished, leaving him staring silently as its power disappeared completely. Left behind, Miyamoto seethed with resentment and swore revenge, unable to accept everything that had happened around him. Ignoring Miyamoto's outrage, the others advanced through the castle, planning their next move while Sylvie and Arnon worked separately. She guided Masatsugu through another passage, but he suspected deception, believing information from Morde likely concealed a dangerous trap. Hearing suspicious noises ahead, Masatsu volunteered to investigate alone while the others turned toward another corridor searching for enemies. Shiki encouraged Masatsugu forward with confidence, then secretly slipped along the walls while several guards patrolled beneath her. The guards discovered Shi's presence unexpectedly and rushed into pursuit, while Masatsugu watched their reaction without showing concern. Ignoring the commotion, Masatsugu continued through the passage, focused entirely on locating the missing orphans before danger escalated. Reaching a hidden room, Masatsugu finally found Lucia, Aaron, and Eustacia, unconscious together, confirming the captives remained alive. Masatsu called for the three girls to awaken, and Lucia slowly opened her eyes as consciousness returned. Masatsu found Lucia, Aaron, and Shi asleep together. He called for the three girls to wake. Lucia abruptly shouted for Masatsu, drawing attention. He entered the room while she stared quietly, appearing thoughtful. Masatsugu explained the adoptive parents were false guardians gathering children as sacrifices. Lucia praised his rescue, then urged returning to the orphanage. When Masatsugu prepared to leave, Lucia refused. She turned away and admitted she did not want departure either, causing immediate confusion and surprise. Lucia insisted she was serious and thanked Masatsu. She claimed being rescued was enough, leaving him questioning her sudden decision. Lucia told Masatsu he was no longer the orphanage director, arguing there was no reason to force himself. Learning they were being adopted, Lucia felt sad yet happy because she feared the girls would become useless. Lucia explained they gained a place to call home only because Masatsugu allowed them to stay, challenging his claim of acting for convenience. Masatsugu realized expelling the children would have been easier, making her refusal seem tied to something deeper and personal. Because she had already accepted Masatsu's kindness, Lucia quietly revealed the real reason behind her resistance. Lucia denied manipulating Masatsugu. She admitted causing trouble, yet confessed her only wish was remaining beside him, despite everything endured. She claimed that abandoning her would have spared Masatsugu constant burdens. She believed sacrificing herself would be preferable to troubling him. Shocked by her words, Masatsugu demanded an explanation. Lucia calmly declared she would do anything for him, even dying willingly. Lucia smiled through tears while holding her feelings close. Her sincere expression left Masatsu speechless, struggling to process everything revealed. Rejecting her argument, Masatsu insisted on saving everyone regardless. He ordered her, Aaron, and Shii to follow him immediately. Masatsugu struggled internally after hearing Lucia's confession. He questioned his response while Lucia waited quietly. Masatsu convinced himself he could not accept Lucia's feelings. Unsure whether her words were genuine, he feared serious consequences ahead. While facing Lucia, he realized accepting her feelings might change everything. The possibility alone convinced him something would eventually end. Masatsugu suddenly ordered Lucia back and drew his weapon. His urgent shout interrupted the tense moment before anyone understood why. A powerful strike crashed through the area. Debris scattered across the chamber as Masatsugu moved quickly, reacting before danger reached them. Masatsugu noticed the damaged prison gate repairing itself. Confused by the strange phenomenon, he watched silently while dust settled around. A mysterious woman appeared before the group. Lucia realized even Masatsu failed to break the barrier completely as the newcomer approached. Recognizing the intruder, Masatsu identified her as the death god Mort. He faced her cautiously while Lucia remained behind bars. Mort greeted Masatsugu confidently, revealing she expected his arrival. While Lucia watched, Masatsugu challenged her and demanded everyone's release. She laughed at Masatsugu's determination and mocked his focus. She hinted he overlooked something important, increasing suspicion and tension. Attempting another escape, Masatsu struck the barrier again. Morte reminded him its construction exceeded ordinary human capabilities, despite his repeated efforts to break. Breathing heavily, Masatsugu admitted the barrier remained intact. Lucia listened anxiously as Mort declared his objective impossible, refusing defeat. Masatsugu continued struggling against confinement. He grabbed the bars forcefully and vowed his efforts remained unfinished, despite mounting obstacles. Masatsu desperately pulled the bars with all his strength. Lucia watched in shock, because touching them previously produced no reaction. Morte revealed she created a special trick for this situation. She mocked Masatsu, claiming he failed to understand something obvious. Using her power, Morte launched Masatsugu away from the barrier. The impact interrupted his attempt and forced him backward. She explained the prison remained unbreakable regardless of effort. Masatsugu noticed similarities between barriers while Lucia observed the situation carefully. Lucia finally understood the mechanism involved. Powerful attacks triggered matching mana resistance, while weaker contact treated the barrier like steel. Masatsugu remarked the prison seemed excessive for holding children. Morte agreed calmly, showing little concern while observing his exhausted condition. Morte dismissed Masatsugu as merely human, despite his abilities. Breathing heavily, he glared back, refusing to accept her judgment. Believing resistance was pointless, she claimed Masatsugu exhausted his strength. While speaking confidently, he quietly reached toward the bars. Masatsugu suddenly lowered himself beside Lucia. Alarmed by his condition, Lucia called out while watching his unexpected movement closely. Morte declared everything finished and mocked Masatsu's efforts. She argued failure to approach the girls made further resistance meaningless. Morte announced a prophecy involving the evil god Luikwi. She prepared her duty calmly, accepting endless wandering between life and death. Lucia desperately begged Masatsugu to escape alone. Ignoring her plea, he tightened his grip and continued searching for solutions. Masatsugu refused Lucia's request immediately. Although no longer director, he could not abandon the children trapped behind the barrier. Questioning his own motives, Masatsu admitted uncertainty. Even so, he felt there remained reasons worth fighting for regardless. Facing Morte, Masatsu rejected sacrificing innocent lives. He refused supporting any action that threatened the world for others. Lucia quietly approached the barrier and touched it with determination. Masatsugu noticed her actions immediately and questioned her intentions. Holding a hidden knife, Lucia tearfully claimed everyone would benefit from her absence. She prepared cutting restraints despite Masatsugu's objections. Masatsugu realized Lucia intended harming herself. Morte noticed the change as a crack appeared, signaling something unexpected occurring. Masatsugu smashed through the barrier and stopped Lucia, shouting fiercely. He admitted her suffering mattered deeply to him all along. The prison structure crumbled around them, injured but smiling. Masatsugu explained the barrier failed because Lucia created weakness within its design, unknowingly herself. Masatsugu called Lucia's name firmly. Startled by his serious tone, Lucia responded nervously while waiting for his next words. Masatsu explained his protection had nothing to do with authority. Regardless of position, he wanted to keep Lucia safe personally. Lucia smiled through tears and finally understood. She confessed wanting to remain beside Masatsugu forever, because their feelings seemed alike. Embarrassed by her response, Masatsugu reluctantly agreed they shared similar thoughts. Lucia immediately accepted the idea with cheerful certainty, watching their exchange. Morte admitted surprise. Despite her schemes and restrictions, their determination surpassed expectations and achieved an unexpected breakthrough. Morte unexpectedly praised Masatsugu as the Sword of Man. Confused by the title, he stood silently while processing her statement. Masatsugu admitted hearing the title for the first time. Morty appeared surprised while he dismissed its importance without concern. Introducing herself formally, Morty declared loyalty to the evil god Luikwi. She vowed to break Masatsu's resolve and continue pursuing the world's destruction.